Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Bitch gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Bitch gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Bitch gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Bitch gang, like I told ya, this is fucking soldiers. My blacks on my 18s on my real yosers. Toothless, we raise them up. Ruthless, we don't get got links on the top up. Fuck at us, then you die. Fuck at us, then you die. Real niggas make real moves. Consequences, cautious. I'm in the gang. Listen up, banks nigga from the bay. Black Cloud, nigga mates been patching since 18. Hotel, Southland, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. This gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. This gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking life. This gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life.
Yoza, Rotorua to the death of me, just banging on these dogs here, cause there ain't no money left me, bringing misery to my enemies. My 4 black niggas gon' send you straight to the cemetery. Yo, fuck, 2 of my niggas passed off, just banging around the nation, never giving a fuck. 2 of my niggas go down, thing, truth is a black and blue. Fuck the mucky niggas for like them coming for you.
And I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Fish gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Fish gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Fish gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. We niggas for life, holding it down forever for spending the streets. Cashed up at age 16, checking months on the daily routine. Don't cops speaking and don't smack back in your teeth. It's the nigga free, running the streets. So refugee, PGI, yo, fucking yo, you stuck into the sky. I'll do it till I die. Only the wicked survive. My drive, so you ready to ride. Niggas for life, niggas for life, niggas for life. And I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Fish gang, and I 6. Hey, I'm a motherfucking nigga for life. Tatted on my face, it's banging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town. Yo, fall, I'm a nigga. Where the rich hell, bow down, it's the black bar. Tatted on my face, it's banging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town.
In the streets you prepare when you take you. Some situations can make you or break you. But fuck that shit, I'm a nigga for life. The day I got patched up, real niggas for life. So black and so little, sometimes ride, sometimes for these hard times I live little. Hard places gotta make placed up. Nigga mates been paper chasing every day. Life flags is everything, but it's okay, I'm still here. Vegas, Grand Hood, NFL, we folded up, we young niggas rising up. Patch members, show fuck my black cars, we stay storm through the storm. And through the war, niggas for life, niggas for see them up, we kill them all. Take this patch, monorail, yo fuck a hotel. Representing everything, bow down the town, wait, in the town, loud and proud. So black we found out, so black we found out. Yo fuck, motherfucker, take lyrics, hell, bow down, just the black bar. Tatted on my face, it's banging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town. Yo fuck, I'm a nigga. Lyrics, hell, bow down, it's the black bar. Tatted on my face, it's banging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town. BPA. T is what you see, and what you see is what you get, and what you get is chin check. When you come around the way, you gon' feel the full effect of a crazy ass nigga run my blade across your neck. Angel shit real quick, I hold it down. The fist is black
round, motherfucker, we be up in this bitch. Yeah, you see us on the hustle, we be trying to get rich. It's this game to the death, know that I never switch. I'm 18, nigga, never taking it lightly. Fucking must think they mighty, but none of them wanna fight me. You don't believe me, come try me, your fucking ass will be dying.
Fucking bullshit.
Yo, Jeezy, thought that you ain't gonna see your man. Yeah. Look, been out on the grind for the minute, trying to get it on. I've been getting it. These niggas have been sweating it. Don't get off the bed, but wanna phone a nigga begging it. I'm way ahead of it. I'll ride upon a nigga letting it off. When it comes to this rap shit, I've got this, and so is Jeezy Low. Man agrees to vote. I'm out for them notes, but I still keep it close. Case I might try promote. That's 5 shots through his coat. Listen, if you know, then you know. I'm still on London's road, shotting hoes, stashing knives in me clothes. If it's not your beat, don't get involved. I'm ride out to slap a nigga down, and no cases getting sold. Listen, I'm the shooter, you're the victim. I rode out with him and told police I wear rhythm. I gave me boys follow tips, slopes to the loot. Just said that's for that dude. The next day when it clipped him, I'm back on it. Niggas got the shotty, said I don't want it. I've got nowhere to put it. Plus it's out of bullets and I hate them shotguns when it's beef. I've never got nowhere to stuff it. I'm riding out with hand things with bullets that expand. If a hitman by the barbers, he gon' land by pound like that lost. So don't act like you found man. 8 bills for the odds if you want that brown tan. Listen, I'm trying to stay low off the radar from poker because I know they want me still. Still trying to find me from crimes that I did years ago, but I don't even give a fuck. I got fined once, they hit me with some threats, talking about they'll take the shit if I didn't pay the debt. You gotta cheat. Little fucking dumb threats. Tell them Jeezy, straight Liverpool to Toronto. You know what it is?
Show these niggas how we start on one side. Yo, I'm like, bang, bang, shots fly like found in the park again. So flew like an angel with the darkest sins. You can't fly with the carpet wings. So I had to watch him sink like agnostic shit. It's like I built this on my own, no partnership. I did it solo. Nigga, this my nigga, so I shot it up solo. First time I nigga, the clip spilled for the phone. Yo, everything gets yo. And I'm like, word to my mother, this pop kills. And if I don't have it, then I know that this night will. See where I'm from? Man, know that the totally got sliver. Poor man, turn your liver to a polar blood. It's that real. Cap pill by the gas will. And the thing gets stashed in the backfield. And I'm like, niggas been snaking and all that. You know I'm a boss. I took a break, but I'm taking it all back. Handles done smooth, pump short, cause I saw that. Guns with suppressors like I'm ready for combat. Yo, A-Star, tell these fuck niggas beyond that. It's one phone call, 7 niggas in all black. We ready, nigga. Hop back and blow deadly, nigga. Stays in my hand, can't talk it, it's too heavy, nigga. Yeah. Hop back and blow deadly, nigga. Stays in my hand, can't talk it, it's too heavy, nigga.
twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl waving, it reminded me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see me rich, and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They fly out like there's a trampoline. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. There was a Magdalene. My shop like a little bro, a Tagalog. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's rose with beer, real glass ridges with dragon mine. The nigga with the gate and center was never dragging on. The Megatron landing in Lebanon. We was slapping it back and forth like a tether ball. Used to live on French Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches run the ship and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set for it. Like why you niggas say potential net for it? Chocolate and chips to be win. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it right into your dome when I get it out the chest to drawer rapper. When you go on tour, it's all music. Maybe when we go on tour, it's all shootings. Like other chefs got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a dying breed.
Yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in the chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. So big, go sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me. That match pack forgot to get struck. I brought the gasoline. I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Call me down, calm with a crown. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, Lord. No, I'll play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track. They go way back. About them up, top your mark. Like where to safe that. Put numbers on your head. You already covered in face tags, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it. You turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed. They wanna break that, boy. Like, you're bringing all that beef to the farm. My man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat. Your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot. Pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's lying to us is lying face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really battle that talk, we just do shit.
I wear my heart on
A camera crew, a crew of shooters shooting images, killing images. Did you catch all that?
What you really do, I got all the snow. Come right out the boat, come right out the boat. Come right out the boat, come right out the boat. This year you already know. I feel like I've been the GOAT. I know I can hold my own. I know I can hold my own. All I know that crime pay. I'ma get it one day. I'm cruising down the highway. All I know that crime pay. Get them on the 5 ways. I'm cruising down the highway. I'ma get it one day. Yeah, they talking to the
never lifted. I've been gunning for them 7 digits. Came back with a better vision. I ain't never switching. I'ma get this chicken. Crime pays, that's my way. Try to tell them, but they never listen. Fuck the ops, fuck the cops. I'ma make a millions when a Merry Christmas. I've been on this since Dipset. How they wanna get their lips wet. All these bitches used to try to swear me, now flexing on them with this pimp set. All I know the crime pays. I'ma get it one day. I'm cruising down the highway. All I know the crime pays. Get the money 5 ways. I'm cruising down the highway. I'ma get it one day. All I know the crime pays. I'ma get it one day. I'm cruising down the highway. All I know the crime pays. Get the money 5 ways. I'm cruising down the highway. I'ma get it one day. If I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. If I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. I can't sleep, these nightmares are real. Gotta keep both hands on the wheel.
Starts just taps into it. Like even when I'm not trying, every time the song plays, I notice my actions, everything is connected to the song. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. 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 Whoa. What are you talking to me? Look at them friends in the jeans. I got no time for a tease. What are you talking about? Let it breathe. I got my tricks on my sleeve. My bitch a bit of a freak. Yo, they just came out of the womb. Need to be speaking my truth. You never stepped in my shoes. Yo, I'm pulling up in a fuel. Niggas don't know what to do. I'm taking all of the loot. Whoa, I got my fear from the bay. We can be sipping all day. I got their blood in my veins. Yo, I got my gold on my chain. Nigga, I'm going insane. I'm taking all of the hate. I disappear like a ghost. I keep my ducks in a row. I keep that bitch on her toes. Whoa, when you step into my zone, give me a hit on my phone. I get it over the low. Yo, pull up on your block, roll please, yo. Chilling with the homies makes it easier. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. Pull up on your block, roll please, yo. Chilling with the homies makes it easier. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. Hey, I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. All night. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. What are you talking to me? Look at them friends on the jeans. I got no time for a tease. No time for a tease. Money is all that I breathe. I got my tricks on my sleeve. My bitch a bit of a freak. They just came out of the womb. Need to be speaking my truth. You never stepped in my shoes. Yo, I'm pulling up in a fuel. Niggas don't know what to do. I'm taking all of the loot. Whoa, I'm taking it. Nah, they finna.
Yeah, we real for the street.
I'm gonna let my truck man bring you.
the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Did it like cocaine when I drop flames. Let the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Did it like cocaine when I drop flames. Then it keeps them calling homemade. Got bars on me like my phone got paid. Drinking and driving, swerving all different ways. My mind stays stuck in the same ass maze. Maybe I should write this, or maybe I should write that. No, I don't like this, and no, I don't like that. I want you to feel the shit more than these hi-hats. I want to kill the shit. I don't want to hear my rhymes whack. I don't beat around the bush, I beat around the block. I ain't needing no push, sucking on my cock. All I need is a little push to make it to the top. Try off that cushion at the bottom of the heart. Dreams are far-fetched, but I'ma go catch it. You ain't seen bars yet, this is just a message. I'm bringing that hard shit, that blows like a weapon. Packing some more snake in case I put the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Addicted like cocaine when I drop flames. Let the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Addicted like cocaine when I drop flames. In my rolling place. These words are shots that you take with no chase. Life without me is like a song without bass. Done killed the beat, now I caught a murder case. Switch up my motive just over my personality. Got my mind on the dream to become a reality. Mortal Kombat turning rappers to fatalities. You can tell me shit unless it's coming with a salary. And it's to you no worker. Started paying attention to the risk observers. There's a true story but with all my murder. Thought I couldn't toss around and took a step further. I'd rather be respected and have everyone in fear. I have the dopest vision, I can see it real clear. You can call my shit mystical, me right here. So ahead of my time, I'm past like years. Let the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Addicted like cocaine when I drop.
Yeah, we ready for this.
I don't knock, I don't pick locks. I kick doors down and let go shots. Call me hot shot, real life nightmare. And the S, I make niggas cry gangsta tears. No alcohol, no beer. Like Freddy, I'll kill you in your nightmares. Where the cash at? Where the stash at? Fuck around, we won't find where the girl's at. She's in the street on the floor like the doormat. Break it back to blue sky, cause she know you whack. Cool dogs, that's what we thinking over rap. This ain't fiction, we thinking over rap. 1 trip, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Cool dog, nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. 1 trips, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Cool dog, nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. Booyah! 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I said so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you're not scared, so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm scared, so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you're not scared, so I'm coming in tow. Coming in tow. No matter what, by the window, by the door. Yeah, speaking on the lock for the door. That's a show, cause we know what you got on the stove, on the table, and your money's in the box. So I'm picking on the lock, coming through the door, blasting. Shoot, no move, nothing to ask. One bad move, then you get your ass kicked. You're not in the mood, so the peace catch you. See the eyes of a wolf, and I hope you see it. Cold dogs around, so your ass is frozen. Wolf, motherfucker, now you about to get defeated. My bad, too bad, you the one who chose it. I know we able to get no options, not more made, but a man on a mission. It's not a good dream, but a bad situation. More like a nightmare, you are the victim. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I said, so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you're not sleeping, so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I said, so I'm coming in tow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you're not sleeping, so I'm coming in tow.
Sit your little bitch ass down, nigga.
Please, this
You can't spell ball without the AR. Vote me for mayor. Taking helicopters down with a little laser. Hand in cannon, I'm holding bigger than fucking mega. Yaga, the liquor for the shots to make you stagger. For my little brother, it's like he loves my partners. Real party boys, run baby, y'all boxers. With this empire, it's nothing like Roger. These are enemy lines, nobody can cross it. I just in the battle whip. 4 clicks like a bitch's wig fiction. Murder gang sick shit. Got me reading the words as if my victim lip syncs. Kitchen sink murders. Niggas know I'm running through the streets of beef. Like the hamburger with the burner. No food serving. Yeah, still M3G reppin'. Man, sitting in the vehicle. Plotting on people. Taking your prized possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. I'm at the bar ordering a Heineken. Waiting for the scene to fall back. I was timing him. Fronting him a double set up. Check me round 9 and 10. MGK wild boy. Nigga, we some wild men. Brought together life again. Rifles like the Irishman. Used to come and bench. But Charlie was a rider man. Niggas try to end me for the money. Call a fireman. I put my fucking flame up. Go ahead and try it there. By all means, do you. I'm creeping through the field shot for Zulu. Cruising in the Subaru. Murder gang crew punch dogs and give them bubbles. You lose. Tell you what kind of like 2 shoes. Listen, Junior is easy to hire shooters to whack you. Right now, I'd rather snap out. Don't even attempt, I won't dap out. Really, I don't have to. Slap the kid so hard, I put a wonder, call him Matthew. Subliminal. Murder gang squad in the fact I set it up to win no box. You got to follow my dialect. My number, you ain't dial yet. That judge ain't fire yet. By the end of this chapter, motherfucker buying it. That bitch holds gauges and a couple 45s in it. Catch a couple cases, but I'll beat him if I'm hiding it. In the L spot, nigga, known for the kill shot. Cause I'm the nigga that shot Jack and chill out the hilltop. Too. Lil Red Rider Hood was Rider Hood. The song blew her up now. She ain't riding through the hood. And Woody Woodpecker was a fag while Batman got chest and panties over his pants. Spidey was a swinger. Wolverine is a nigga that's obvious, so they ain't gotta mention that spinner. Well, I master cheddar in my max, my death roll blast for cheddar. Trying to make cat is better. Yeah, I'm sitting in the vehicle, plotting on people. Taking your prized possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot.
Cards memorabilia show at the Monte Casino Hotel. 50 tables are stacked with new and vintage baseball, basketball, hockey, wrestling, and yes, even football cards. Not only that, there are some non-sports cards on deck too, like Batman and Pokemon. It's happening now until 3. Reporting from the streets of Toronto in the all-news Cruise, brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota. I'm Stephanie Henry.
A reminder that TTC service disruptions continue today. There's no service on line 1 between Finch and Eglinton. Crews are working on the signaling system through that stretch. You can take a shuttle bus or Wheel-Trans service through the affected area. Service will get back to normal in time for the back-to-work commute tomorrow. Your weekend business report is next here on 680 News. 680 News time, 10:55.
Excitement is right around the corner at Casino Woodbine. More excitement than King Street on a Saturday. More rush than the Falls. More lights than Young and Dundas. More fun is just minutes away. Casino Woodbine, Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart.
You're all bundled up.
Yeah, well, it is minus 17,700.
No way that's right.
Says right here. Get 25% off MSRP for up to $17,700 in total discounts on select brand 1,500 classic bottles. Plus, we make no payments for 90 days.
Oh, I see. Minus 17,700.
There you go.
I'll grab my coat.
I can't believe that worked.
It's the Ram 4x4 winter event. See dealer for details. 680 News Time, 10:56. Now time for the Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Dedman. A research center powered by cloud computing and artificial intelligence is open for business at the University of British Columbia. Dr. Shez Partovi is Worldwide Director of Business Development for Healthcare, Life Sciences, and Genomics at Amazon Web Services. He's also originally from Vancouver. What's the goal of this Cloud Innovation Center?
In this particular gig, the Cloud Innovation Center it actually focuses on community health and well-being, and so the challenges that we're looking to solve would be aimed at those matters of elevating community health and human well-being, if you will.
Technically, if sick people die off,
how do you narrow
that
this down
elevates
to something
community
you can
health.
actually get to work on?
We intentionally and collaboratively, working with UBC, selected a broad space so that it would not be limiting to the students that want to come forward with ideas. That they are the engine, they are the heart of this partnership, this collaboration, they're the heart of it. And the idea is that we would allow students, staff, and faculty, if you will, to bring forward innovative ideas and challenge that would solve real-world challenges in community wellness.
How does cloud computing help push these ideas toward solutions?
Predicting patient health events, like predicting that a patient is going to get congestive heart failure and being able to intervene in advance, that's one of the things that a lot of our customers are asking us, and in fact, it's an opportunity for these challenges. The other two things I'll just quickly mention to you as well is the digital experience of patients. Our best experience anywhere is what we expect everywhere. We're in that world where whatever's your best experience is what you want. And so there's a lot of opportunities for cloud computing to bring that digital experience to healthcare. So that's sort of number two. And the last one I'll mention is the challenge of data liquidity. So the data follows you where you go. And that actually helps the physician, the clinician, the nurse, the community health worker.
Dr. Shez Partovi of AWS. In the Business Center, I'm Richard Dedman.
Doctor or nurse.
Maybe you don't know where to start.
Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so community health
away.
Worker, community health.
What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Happy Chinese New Year! Mandarin is back with our Dumpling Festival for a limited time to celebrate Chinese New Year in style. Enjoy favorite dumplings like beef pot stickers, siu mai, par gao, and tasty banana dumplings for dessert. Plus, choose from other Chinese New Year features added to our award-winning buffet of over 100 dishes. Don't miss it. Chinese New Year at Mandarin ends February 23rd, while supplies last.
A celebration of taste, Mandarin.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
At Walmart, save $1.50 on select party size Lay's or Doritos chips. Now only $2.47. That's another reason why grocery bills are lower at Walmart.
And checking those regional conditions, snow pretty much blanketing the GTA right now. It's 0 in Milton, 0 in Brampton, -2 up in Orangeville. In Barrie, snow falling there as well, and it's -1. And in Pickering, -1 with light snow. It is snowing in downtown Toronto right now. It's 1, but feels like -3 with the wind chill. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 11 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Stuart McGinn and Caitlin Lee.
Good morning. It's Sunday, February 2nd.
Here's what's making news right now.
London Metropolitan Police say several people have been stabbed in a terrorist-related incident in Streatham. The Philippines is reporting the first death outside of China connected to the new coronavirus. This comes as China announces the death toll has surpassed 300.
Can they reach a deal? Ontario's English Catholic school teachers head back to the bargaining table ahead of a province-wide walkout on Tuesday.
Even though they don't have their weather credentials, Wyerton Willie, Shubenacadie Sam, and Puxatawney Phil made their weather predictions earlier today. Happy Groundhog Day, everyone.
The Leafs pick up 2 points in the Battle of Ontario, and Novak Djokovic wins the Australian Open. Sports 15.
And coming up in business, it's the biggest profit in corporate history. We're looking over Apple's $22 billion quarterly update, the prospects for future growth, and could it be the first $2 trillion company? 680 News Time, 11:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
And this report brought to you by 407 ETR. Well, the drive is a pretty good one. Still relatively quiet if you're out there on the major routes right now. Keep in mind, westbound 401 getting a bit busy from Mavis to west of it. Elsewhere, eastbound 401 slow in a pretty similar spot just east of Mississauga Road. Again, it's where they're doing construction on the shoulders through here. It's always slow in that area. But other than that, nothing really out of the ordinary, moving extremely well on the rest of the 401. Really anywhere east of Mississauga, you're in excellent shape right now. North and south 400, DVP 404, QE Gardner, all up to speed. Your biggest concern, really that snow that's coming down. It's pretty light, but again, it's making things a little bit gloomy. So just make sure your lights are on. You're maintaining a bit of distance from other drivers just to have some precaution. But other than that, major routes look great. Few issues off of them, though. Burnham Thorpe is now closed from Mattis Road to Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard. That's all for a crash that just came into our system a few minutes ago. Westbound Shepherd, right turn lane blocked to Keele for another collision, and still this closure of Keele itself north of Wilson at Calvington Road. And that was because a car drove into a hydro pole, been shut down since 5:30 this morning. This year, 407 ETR is adding 30 kilometers of new lanes to keep up with increasing traffic and keep your commutes fast, safe, and reliable. Visit 407etr.com. Let's check the forecast. Here's Denise Andriachi.
Oh, light, steady snow. We could see some heavier accumulations now over the next hour. We're just seeing it a little more steady and a little more hefty than it had been through the first bit of this morning. It's going to continue until at least 3 or 4 p.m., so just take it easy on your drive. But as we've been hearing in Zach's reports, it's a pretty lightly traveled GTA roadways right now, so that's the good news. Could see some mixing a little later this evening, just behind the bulk of the active weather. Still some lingering wet flurries or some scattered showers possible. The guaranteed high for today is 2 degrees.
680 News Time, 11:03.
Breaking news from the UK, where police are investigating a terror-related incident in a London neighborhood. A number of people apparently stabbed.
680's Michelle Mackey following this story. She joins us live with the details now. Michelle.
Stuart, London's Metropolitan Police Service say in a tweet, a man has been shot by armed officers in Streatham. At this stage, it is believed a number of people have been stabbed. The circumstances are being assessed. The incident has been declared as terrorist-related. Police also confirmed the man shot by officers is dead. However, it is unclear at this time if he is the suspect. A witness told Britain's Press Association that he witnessed the attack. He says, quote, I was crossing the road when I saw a man with a machete and silver canisters on his chest being chased by what I assume was an undercover police officer as they were in civilian clothing, unquote. The BBC reports that witnesses reported hearing 3 gunshots just after 2 p.m. London time, and there is now a large police presence on scene.
I wouldn't know, 'cause I'm not from there.
Police up and down this street. We're not entirely sure the exact space and area that's been cordoned off, but we understand it's quite a large area of Streatham High Road here.
Stay with 680 News as this story continues to develop. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 11:04. First death linked to the new coronavirus outside of China has been recorded in the Philippines. That country now issuing a ban on travelers from China as the death toll, the epicenter of the virus, has grown. 680's Lee Johansson has the latest.
The Philippine Department of Health says the 44-year-old man from Wuhan was admitted to hospital on January 25th and died yesterday. Doctors said the man actually had started to improve, but his condition took a drastic turn after he developed severe pneumonia. Meantime, health officials in China are introducing additional precautions that includes daily temperature checks and additional sanitary precautions for vulnerable groups, including taxi drivers, journalists, and shopkeepers.
Based on our current knowledge of the novel coronavirus, it is spread mainly by droplets and also some contacts.
There have been more than 14,000 cases of the virus, and more than 300 people have died in mainland China, where the virus first broke out. I'm Leah Johansson.
And with many worried about the spread of the coronavirus, aside from the uptick in the sales of face masks, people also brushing up on basic hygiene practices of disinfecting and hand washing. Jonathan Muma of City News is looking at whether that actually helps to wipe out viruses like this.
Coronaviruses are envelope viruses, which means they have a coating that makes them vulnerable to drying out.
So that makes them sensitive to things like Lysol or alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Lysol, for example, has a full section on coronavirus on its website. While it's not short of a guarantee, it says certain products have shown success against similar viruses.
The things you'll find out by just looking at the fucking label.
With different concentrations of bleach and alcohol. And Vanessa Meyer-Stevenson, infectious disease physician and researcher at the University of Calgary, explains there are simple ways to make sanitizers and wipes more effective in your everyday use.
Well, if the surface is visibly contaminated or you can see some material there, it would be best to wipe it up first with a cloth of some sort or a Lysol wipe and discard that and take a fresh one to re-clean that surface.
But at the end of the day, washing your hands is still your best defense.
I'm
Jonathan Muyama.
We're learning more about Friday night's triple fatal shooting at an Airbnb in the City Place neighborhood. Police have identified the victims as 21-year-old Jalen Coley of Brampton, 20-year-old Joshua Gibson Skier, also of Brampton, and 19-year-old Tyrone Noseworthy of Toronto. A fourth man was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening gunshot injuries. Officers responded to calls of the shooting at a high-rise on Queens Wharf Road near Fort York. Investigators have since recovered 2 firearms, and they also believe the shooters involved are among the 3 who were killed. Police are not searching for any other suspects.
It's another question of can they reach a deal? The Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association returns to the bargaining table with the Ford government tomorrow, but the union says if a deal isn't reached, they'll still go ahead with province-wide strike action that's planned for Tuesday.
What was the event
Liz
on
Stewart
Friday?
says she knows Ontarians are growing impatient, but the teachers can't let the government wear them down and accept cuts.
680 News Time, 11:08. The annual tradition of trusting a rodent when it comes to our long-term forecast. Strange enough, but this year a hiccup involving Wyerton Willie took things even further. 680's
You saw his shadow and didn't do nothing.
We've got the answers from our groundhogs, but the process went anything but smoothly for our favorite rodent this morning. Not that it really matters, but Wyerton Willie had a bit of a miscommunication with Mayor Janice Jackson.
Well, I don't think you can see its shadow, so it's 6 more weeks. All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 6 more weeks of winter.
But wait a minute. If the groundhog does not see his shadow, that actually means an early spring, right? Yeah.
I messed up totally. I should be fired.
No, Mayor Jackson, let's try that one more time.
The crier's bell did ring. Yes, Willie repeats, or predicts I repeat. It's an early spring.
So there you have it. Willie says an early spring. Shubenacadie Sam says 6 more weeks. And Puxatawny Phil also says an early spring. I'm saying
Heads up, another weekend subway closure continues today. The TTC says there's no service on line 1 between Finch and Eglinton as crews continue to work on the signaling system through that stretch. North York station's also closed, but all other stations in the area are open. Shuttle buses and Wheel-Trans are running.
In 30 seconds, we'll check gas prices.
680 News Time, 11:09.
You're listening to 680 News. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Want some free money? Transfer an RRSP or TFSA to Meridian before March 2nd, and you can get a 1% cash bonus. Real, genuine, free money.
1%.
Visit meridiancu.ca to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Now the 680 News gas price update, and Pro predicts the price will stay the same at midnight, holding at $1.09.9 a liter at most GTA stations.
This is 680 News.
Buying a new home? Then Caitlin Homes has a variety of innovative incentive offers for you. Choose from a selection of Caitlin inventory homes and offers that best suit your unique needs. Like 0% interest, exclusive Caitlin Homes rebates up to $40,000, or one of their rent-to-own
Preferably one
programs.
with a reputation, so I won't
You
have
can
to
own a new
advertise.
home in Bowmanville, but these incentives won't last long. Limited inventory available. For more details, visit CaitlinCorp.com. Certain conditions apply.
Listen up. Lazy Boy is completely overstocked and they need to move furniture fast. It's music to my ears. I hear there's crazy amounts of everything in the store. They're so desperate to move inventory and make room for all their new items that everything's priced to go. Hurry. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Live life comfortably, Lazy Boy.
Scratch and save up to an additional 25% off at 9 GTA stores plus Kitchener.
680 News Time, 11:11.
Time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here is Zach Bodenstein.
This report brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. Delays building on the East 401 from east of Mississauga Road over to the 410 Indy Express. Collectors don't look bad once they become a thing, but still a bit slow as you make your way through that stretch. You'll want to keep that in mind. But anything east of Mississauga seems like a really good drive on the East 401. We haven't seen any issues on the westbound 401. That still continues to be a very smooth drive. The Don Valley Parkway, Gardner Expressway, both looking great. Not much happening on the QEW either. 400 continues to be a good drive, both north and south. Really, our biggest concerns don't involve the major highways. Just a big note here to make sure that your full lighting system is on in conditions like this with the gloomy weather and the snowfall coming down. It's certainly imperative. We've had a number of traffic callers coming into our system and to let us know that other people are not doing it. I've been trying to warn everybody all morning, but again, just another warning, make sure the full lighting system's on in conditions like this. Off of our major routes, 3 issues you want to be aware of. Burnhamthorpe is closed from Mattis Road to Burnhamthorpe Park Boulevard for a crash. There's also another collision on westbound Shepherd. It has the right turn lane blocked off at Keele, and Keele is closed north of Wilson for a separate collision. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, chartered professional accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. With the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
The steady snow continues for the rest of this morning and through the afternoon, tapering off late afternoon, but early evening, we could still see a bit of lingering precipitation, maybe even a few scattered showers and some mixed wet flurries, because temperatures are going to climb just a hint above zero for most of the GTA today, overnight tonight, near +1. Mainly cloudy for Monday. A big push of mild air near 6-7 degrees for a high. Could see a few sunny breaks, but then we fall back to lows near -2 for Monday night. Chance of flurries +1 on Tuesday. The light snow's falling at Pearson. We're sitting at 0 over at YYZ. The guaranteed high today is 2 degrees.
680 News Time, 11:13.
Well, it's nearly game time as Super Bowl 54 takes over the glitz and glamour of Miami tonight.
One team will end a long drought. The Chiefs' last Super Bowl win was 50 years ago. You have to harken back to the Steve Young era 25 years ago for the Niners. A very evenly matched game. The Chiefs have one of the best quarterbacks out there, Patrick Mahomes, who says he's ready.
For us, it's about going through the process, executing the game plan, not trying to do too much, and just doing what got us here.
The Niners are known as a running team, but their quarterback's pretty good, Jimmy Garoppolo. Here's their head coach, Kyle Shanahan.
Jimmy's been as good as anyone to me on third down this year. When we needed him to bring us back at the end of games, he's done it.
Chiefs head coach Andy Reid has had some zingers this week, including this on his 9 grandkids.
They keep you young, and at the same time make you feel old. It's kind of like sweet and sour pork.
I don't even know what that means. What? Enjoy the game.
It's like sweet and sour pork.
680 News Time, 11:14. With Intact Insurance, you can get rewarded for being a good driver. No, really. The better you drive, the more you save. Seriously, you could get up to 30% off your car insurance with My Ride. No. Please keep your hands on the wheel. Intact Insurance, the insurance you dream of. If you dream of insurance, get a quote on intact.ca or talk to your broker. Certain conditions and exclusions apply.
Gloomy, chilly winds and overcast skies. Ugh, that sounds fun. Take a break from dreary and get into the warmth of Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. You'll enjoy more colors, shapes, and sizes under one roof than you can possibly imagine. From rainbow reef to Canadian waters and dangerous lagoon, there's a world just waiting for you to explore. So when the weather tempts you to stay inside, explore an underwater world in the heart of downtown Toronto. Tickets at Ripley'sAquariumofCanada.com. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Still snowing out there, 0, feels like -6. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Caitlin Lee.
And I'm Stuart McGinn. Here are the top stories this hour.
Police in London, UK, say they shot and killed a man during a terror-related incident that involved the stabbings of a number of people. They're now saying they believe there are 2 injured victims. It happened in London's Streatham neighborhood. All their details details at this point are scarce. The Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association returns to the bargaining table with the province tomorrow, but the union says if a deal is not reached, they will still go ahead with Ontario-wide strike action planned for Tuesday.
Let's check in with the Drive and Zach Bodenstein.
Well, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and for another day.
Road to Park Boulevard, and that's again all because of a collision. So everything in the area is starting to get jammed. I'll tell you about some other roads coming up at 11:21.
I'm Denise Andrietti in the 680 News Weather Center. Look out for some mixed wet weather this afternoon. The guaranteed high 2 degrees.
Mixed wet weather. There's another
for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 990. The fan here is Show Ali.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, the Leafs beat the Senators 2-1 down at Scotiabank Arena last night, and backup Michael Hutchinson was a huge part of that win.
Playing a team like this, they really get the puck to the net. When it goes up to the point, it's coming from the net. They're able to score their goal like that tonight on it. But as a goalie, those games are fun. The puck's coming to you. There's going to be traffic you're on to battle, and it makes for a really fun game.
Leafs are now off until Monday. Well, they'll have an important divisional game against the Florida Panthers. The Raptors, meanwhile, were off last night. They'll play this evening against the Chicago Bulls. That game is right here on the Fan. In Melbourne, Novak Djokovic is the champ once again. He beats Dominic Thiem in 5 sets for his record 8th win at the Australian Open. After the win, Djokovic is now ranked number 1 in the world with his 17 Grand Slam titles. He trails only Roger Federer with 20 and Rafael Nadal with 19. And Super Bowl Sunday has arrived as the 49ers and Chiefs kick things off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 11:17.
Jenny Cooper, who's dead.
Death is her living.
I'm just trying to put a picture together of how he died.
And she won't rest until she uncovers the truth.
It is my mission as coroner to speak for the dead so that I can protect the living.
Don't miss the hit drama series, Coroner. New episode, Monday at 9 on CBC.
Something's always coming up. Home improvements, kids' education, car repairs, credit card bills. Maybe you even saw a real deal on an investment property. Well, don't wait for the money to fall from the sky. Call Northwood Mortgage and start taking care of business. Use your home to save money. Pay off your mortgage faster. See why Canadians have turned to Northwood Mortgage for over a quarter of a century.
Northwood Mortgage.
Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
10349.
680 News Time, 11:18. Parts of Kenya dealing with their worst outbreak of locusts in 70 years as billions of the insects descend on communities. Kenya's agriculture ministry says the locust swarms can deplete farmland in a number of hours.
They are destroying the environment because some of these farms are very big, billions.
Eat the locusts.
So within 6 hours and 8 hours, they suppress and deplete all the pastures.
And what experts say is the only effective control. Small planes are flying low over affected areas to spray pesticides in an attempt to stop the locusts from spreading to neighboring Uganda and South Sudan. The United Nations says $76 million is needed immediately to fight the locusts across East Africa. As fears of a new coronavirus from China spread, many countries are seeing rising anti-Chinese sentiment. Some restaurants in Asian cities have refused to accept Chinese customers. Indonesians marched near a hotel and called on Chinese guests there to leave. Chinese and other Asians in Europe and New Zealand are also complaining of racial discrimination. Incidents have been reported here in Toronto as well. A Western U.S. state legislature is pushing forward a bill targeting the doctors of transgender minors.
The Republican-controlled South Dakota House of Representatives advancing a bill that would make it illegal for medical professionals to perform gender reassignment procedures on a minor or to administer hormones and puberty blockers to patients under 16. Doctors who go against the policy could go to jail. The bill's sponsor, Representative Fred Deutsch, calling transgender medical procedures a crime against humanity, comparing them to experiments performed during the Holocaust. South Dakota House Minority Leader Jamie Smith saying Deutsch's comment was disgusting. The ACLU promising to go to court if the bill becomes law. Dave Packer, ABC News.
In 1 minute, we'll check traffic and weather. 680 News Time, 11:20.
This is the first sound you hear when we get hit by a snowstorm. And this is the second sound you hear. Snowplows on the DVP and the Gardner. When it snows, the city has over 5,600 kilometers of roads to salt and plow. And in order to get more people where they need to go safely, we clear expressways, major roads, and transit routes first, before moving on to residential streets. It's how we keep you moving, Toronto. Get to know the plan for snow at toronto.ca/snow.
Are you struggling with your up-close reading vision? Need a larger font size on your phone to read text messages? After LASIK-MD's PresbyVision procedure, these challenges will be a thing of the past. PresbyVision is designed to treat up-close reading vision loss as well as nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism, so you can see near, far, and everything in between without glasses, bifocals, or contacts. And for a limited time, save up to 20% on your procedure. Book your free no-obligation consultation today at LASIKMD.com.
6 years time, 11:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Zach Bodenstein.
This report brought to you by Alterna Savings. It's a smooth drive out there right now. We do have some plows or salt trucks making their way east on the 401. So right now we're seeing delays from just south of the airport and mainly the express all the way over to about Dixon. But other than that, the drive is a really good one. And this work is pretty necessary right now. We are starting to see that snow coming down. Roads getting pretty wet at this point, and that's just that always friendly reminder to make sure that your lights are on. That full lighting system needs to be on with the gloomy weather. Just make sure things are safe for you and others around you. Elsewhere, things are again moving well. 400, for the most part, in pretty good shape. We have southbound delays just south of Highway 9 headed towards Aurora Road. I haven't heard of any issues in this area. Looks like just volume, at least for now. But the 404 DVP is in pretty good shape. Same thing with the QE Gardner combination. But we do have this closure of Burnhamthorpe from Mattis Road to Burnhamthorpe Park Boulevard. That's all shut down for a crash. A couple of other crashes to tell you about. Westbound Shepherd as the right turn lane blocked the Keel completely closed north of Wilson and Calvington Road. Saving for retirement doesn't have to be scary. Talk to an advisor at Alterna Savings about the best plan for you. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment. Alterna Savings, discover the good in banking. With the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
The steady snow continues the next few hours, and late this afternoon, evening, things are going to taper off. Still a little bit of active weather in the forecast, kind of scattered and light wet flurries likely, maybe a few scattered showers and some fog developing overnight. A big push of milder air tomorrow. It is temporary, highs near 6 degrees. We're back to more seasonal, almost seasonal, a bit warmer than that for Tuesday, near about 1-2 degrees. Average high this time of year is -2. We could see a bit of active weather Tuesday as well. Your guaranteed high today is 2 degrees.
6:80 news time, 11:23. Coming up at 11:30, we'll have more on an incident in London, UK, where police shot and killed a man in what they're calling a terror-related incident.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream home has all the latest appliances, a double electric wall oven, a 44 decibel dishwasher, and a fridge that automatically replenishes itself after my 2 teens raided at midnight.
Well, just about everything. From Friday to Monday at Lowe's, get 15% off all purchases of $100 or more and 20% for $450 or more. In-store and online. Conditions apply. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
How much longer is left of winter?
Likely best to check with the professionals. Sorry, Willie.
The most meteorologists than any other station.
With traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the one.
This is 680 News and 680news.com.
For a stupid little
Former
graphic.
Humboldt Bronco Ryan Strashnitsky says he's been seeing some positive changes since having spinal surgery in Thailand last year. He had an epidural stimulator implanted in his spine, which is allowing him to walk using the machine and improving his balance. Strashnitsky, who was paralyzed from the chest down in the Broncos bus crash, says he hopes his experience will convince Health Canada to allow the surgery to be done here in Canada.
That's the plan. I mean, the biggest idea for me is to get this going throughout Canada and throughout North America and changing a lot of lives. I think we don't really have a lot out here for as far as stimulation. We have the device, it's just not used for spinal cord injuries. And I think incorporating that into Canada's healthcare system would be huge. And that'd be my end goal.
Strashnitsky had to pay for his own surgery in Thailand. In 1 minute, we'll check in at the Business Center, 680 News Time, 11:25.
Everyone is talking about the hit musical sensation Come From Away.
Millions
It's a
of
true
dollars.
story. Thousands of people stranded in a small town in Newfoundland on 9/11, and the locals, they opened up their homes.
-3 healthcare.
That week, the kindness, the resilience, the joy reminds us all what it is to be human. Come From Away, now in its second smash year in Toronto. Get tickets at Mirvish.com. Located in the majestic surroundings of Casa Loma, Blue Blood Steakhouse offers an exquisite fine dining experience in a uniquely memorable setting. And now, on Tuesday evenings, your world-class culinary experience will be even more impressive as you enjoy the stunning sounds of the Casa Loma Symphony Orchestra playing live in the Great Hall, led by Maestro Paolo Bassato. Symphony at the Castle, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. For reservations, visit BlueBloodSteakhouse.com.
6 City News Time, 11:26. Now your weekend business report.
I'm Mike Apple. Analysts who cover Apple on Wall Street could not find enough superlatives to describe the company's performance over the holiday sales period. The biggest ever quarterly profit, $22 billion on more than $90 billion in sales. The company sold more of everything. iPhones reclaimed the #1 ranking of all smartphone brands. Wearables topped $10 billion in sales. And the company's stock reflecting the results, rising to an all-time high and clearing $1.4 trillion in market value.
$20
with similar trading.
I mean, the only numbers that they didn't exceed expectations for with this earnings announcement was their service revenue, and everything else continued to beat the estimates that they're anticipating. I think there's, still stuff behind Apple. People still want to buy the products. They're still invested in the company. Overall, I mean, we've been in this bullish trend for quite some time. We would expect a pullback by now, but when we get numbers like this, it's hard to trade against that and just continue to remain bullish.
Now, in the company's conference call, CEO Tim Cook said consumers are replacing older phones at a faster pace.
I also think phone companies are taking into consideration, and they're trying to do things to get this model of phone in people's hands. So quite a few phone companies like Sprint, for example, have setups where it's like an Apple leasing program where you only have your iPhone for about a year and you can go to trade it in and upgrade it.
There was some caution from Cook related to China, where all of the iPhones are produced.
I think the reason why they have such a wide range on next quarter's guidance is because of the uncertainty in China, and of course with the coronavirus, because it continues to grow and the fear around that continues to grow. I think that's going to play into not just Apple, but a lot of companies' sales who have business and have factories over in China. And so with that uncertainty, I think they're trying to build that some into their numbers for next quarter as well.
It's Allison Ostrander with Simpler Trading. The shares of Apple closed the week at $315 over the past year, gained 92%. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
Your kitchen. It's your coffee shop, your family diner, your romantic bistro, and your wine bar. At Tasco Appliances, we understand the many roles your kitchen plays and the contribution that each appliance makes to it. Do your kitchen a favor.
Stoves all have 6 burners.
Until you talk to a knowledgeable Tasco Pro. Right now, save up to 35% when you purchase select appliances from Monogram.
Come say hello, Tasco Pro at Tasco.
Visit TascoAppliance.ca.
Look, I'll drive you guys home, but you need to chill. Everyone buckle up and stop messing around. I didn't sign up as DD just to end up in a ditch.
Even sober, young drivers are 9 times more likely to crash. Speak your mind. ChangeTheConversation.ca.
Congratulations on winning the Chicago pitch. I have taxi chits here to get everyone home safely. Let's not have this win end in a loss.
Convicted drunk drivers will be stopped at the U.S. border. Change the Conversation. Sponsored by the Brewers Association of Canada.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by IA Clarington Investments, where we believe in the value of active management to navigate today's complex markets. Visit iaclarington.com.
In Vancouver, you're trading snow for light rain, 3 degrees. Calgary, partly cloudy, -9. In Winnipeg, clear and -4. And in Ottawa, overcast and -3. Downtown Toronto, a rain and snow mix, +1, feels like -4. 680 News Time, 11:30.
#1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Stuart McGinn and Caitlin Lee.
Good morning. This is Sunday, the 2nd of February.
Here's what's making news this hour.
A man has been shot and killed by officers after a number of people were stabbed in London. Metropolitan Police declaring this a terrorist-related incident.
The first death of a patient infected with the coronavirus outside of China has been reported in the Philippines, leaving other countries on edge as the virus continues to spread.
Wings, chili, beer, how to make your Super Bowl party the best.
Your long-term weather forecast is brought to you by some cute furry rodents today. That's right, it's Groundhog Day. Wyerton Willie, Shubenacadie Sam, and Puxatawney Phil have submitted their predictions.
Novak Djokovic wins the Australian Open for a record 8th time, and the Raptors play tonight down at Scotiabank. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, a spotlight on small business and a look at the importance of branding and how some social media can help.
680 News Time, 11:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
This report brought to you by City TV. Not too many concerns. If you're out there on the major routes right now, everything is moving relatively well. You'll just want to have your lights on with the gloomy conditions out there. Eastbound 401 slowing down a little bit from Dixon over to Kipling, but beyond that, not much else happening. Westbound 401 still up to speed through the whole stretch, and not much doing on the DVP 404, QE Gardner, or the 400. All of these routes are in great shape at this point. It's been a pretty lightly traveled morning and still continues to be as we're almost at the noon hour right now. Burnhamthorpe, though, that's still closed from Mattis Road to Burnhamthorpe Park Boulevard. This is all for an ongoing collision. Westbound Shepherd, a crash at Kiel as the right turn lane blocked. The tow truck's on scene. Kiel is shut down north of Wilson at Calvington Road. That's for a separate collision. Get the latest news affecting our community every night on City News at 6 and 11, only on City TV. Let's check your Sunday forecast with Denise Andriachi.
Light snow for the entire GTA right now, and that's going to continue the next couple of hours, tapering slightly through the afternoon and then evening. But behind the bulk of this active weather, we still have some lingering wet flurries, possibly scattered showers to deal with this evening, and some fog patches developing. Overnight lows near the freezing mark. Your guaranteed high for today, +2.
680 News Time, 11:32.
We have breaking news from London, England, where Metropolitan Police have shot a man in Streatham, a suburb south of the capital, after multiple people were stabbed in what officials have deemed a terrorist-related incident.
680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with what we know so far. Michelle.
Caitlin, Metropolitan Police say on Twitter in part, we believe there are 2 injured victims. We await updates on their conditions. The scene has been fully contained. We will issue more information when possible. Police also confirming armed officers shot and killed the man following the attack just after 2 p.m. local time. However, it is unclear if the man is the suspect. The BBC says there is now a large police presence on scene.
We've seen armed police up and down this street. We're not entirely sure the exact space and area that's been cordoned off, but we understand it's quite a large area of Streatham High Road here.
A witness told Britain's Press Association that he saw the attack. He says, quote, I was crossing the road when I saw a man with a machete and silver canisters on his chest being chased by what I assume was an undercover police officer as they were in civilian clothing, unquote. And in a statement, London Mayor Sadiq Khan says in part, terrorists seek to divide us and to destroy our way of life. Here in London, we will never let them succeed. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 11:34. Another development in a global health emergency. The first death outside China from the new coronavirus has been reported in the Philippines. Officials say the man was originally from the outbreak epicenter, but he traveled to the Philippines from Wuhan. Here's 680's Leah Johansson.
The victim is a 44-year-old man who was admitted to hospital on January 25th with a fever, cough, and sore throat. Now, doctors believed he was doing well, but the man suddenly developed severe pneumonia and died yesterday. The Philippines have now banned entry to travelers from China, joining the U.S., Japan, Singapore, and Australia in imposing temporary travel bans. Meantime, health officials in China are introducing additional precautions themselves, including public health notices for sanitation, but they're also warning those who are at risk should take maximum precautions.
For people who have been to the epicenter or who have been close contacts of the confirmed cases, then they need to wait for 14 days as an isolation period.
Although offices and factories in China will resume work tomorrow, schools are still closed as a precaution. I'm Leah Johansson. Amidst concerns of coronavirus, Canada is calling for unity. Karen Siolan of City News tells us the Prime Minister has a message for Canadians. At a Lunar New Year event in Toronto, the Prime Minister warned against the rise of racism as borders close and flights are cancelled.
Let me be clear. There is no place in our country for discrimination driven by fear or misinformation. This is not something Canadians will ever stand for.
Chinese officials have criticized the wave of travel restrictions, accusing foreign governments of ignoring the advice of the World Health Organization and saying this is not a gesture of goodwill. For City News, I'm Karen Siolan.
680 News time, 11:36. Police have identified the three men that were killed after a violent night at an Airbnb in the City Place neighborhood. 21-year-old Jalen Colley and 20-year-old Joshua Gibson Skier, both of Brampton, and 19-year-old Tyrone Noseworthy of Toronto, are dead after that shooting Friday night. A fourth man was also taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening gunshot injuries. He is expected to survive. Emergency crews were called to the shooting after shots rang out in the high-rise building on Queens Wharf Road near Fort York Boulevard. Police believe the shooters involved are among the deceased and say they recovered 2 firearms. The homicide squad is not searching for any more suspects.
And after that deadly shooting at the Airbnb, many are wondering what city officials are doing to reel in short-term rental mayhem. The city of Toronto is slowly regulating short-term rental hosts by requiring them to register with the city. The fatal shooting happened in Councillor Joe Cressey's Ward 10 of Spadina, Fort York. He called it a brutal and traumatic incident and says there's an urgent need for proper regulation and oversight of short-term rentals.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. It's 11:37. Forget the football. Some of us just care about the grub. Marching for home and has some food and drink recommendations from an expert ahead of the Super Bowl tonight.
Still looking for a place to watch the game on Sunday? Northern Maverick Brewery at Bathurst and Adelaide is a solid option with all kinds of specials and beer options. But if you can't make the trip, Chef Chris Dahl has some ideas to make your own party great.
Always go cheese-free first, because that's the stuff that they can sit out for a little while. Everybody loves it. There's always a little bit of saltiness, a little bit cheesiness to it.
And if you're looking to bring beer for everyone, Chef, your recommendations?
IPA is my favorite beer, personally, and I can't really think of anything that IPA doesn't classically pair with.
And if you want to get fancy, Chef says what they do at Northern Maverick is they smoke their chicken wings. I'm Jeff Rahoman.
A mix of emotions for Torontonians when it comes to the game tonight. 680's Nick Black explains.
Well, Super Bowl excitement is in the air, and I asked Mackenzie if she's looking forward to tonight.
You know, not to take away, I'm just going to watch for the halftime show.
Well, at least Seb's excited.
Well, at the start of the season, I sort of said the Chiefs, so I'll keep backing them.
And some are a little sour that their team didn't make it this far.
Well, my team is the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl this year.
But he's willing to shift his allegiance to the Chiefs to show some Canadian spirit.
They got 2 offensive linemen. One's from Montreal and one's from North Bay. So that's kind of cool to see a Canadian in a Super Bowl.
Kickoff is tonight at 6:30 on Night Live.
This just into 680 News. Toronto police say live hydro wires are causing a road closure in Etobicoke after a vehicle hit a pole, which pulled those wires down. This is taking place right now at the intersection of Burnhamthorpe Park Boulevard and Mattis Road. The area is closed right now. Stay with 680 News for your updated traffic report. The next one coming up in just a couple of minutes.
680 News time, 11:39.
I've got to buy new equipment for my business.
I want to increase my online sales. I wish I could expand my team.
I want to see my business move forward.
Things can move fast when you're in business. And at BDC, we understand entrepreneurs. With our 100% online small business loan, you could quickly make your project a reality. Go to bdc.ca/online loan. Apply in minutes and get up to $100,000 within 48 hours of approval. Apply now at bdc.ca/online loan.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will hold at midnight at $1.09.9 a liter across most GTA stations.
This is 680 News.
You'll always be the first to know.
Breaking news when it happens.
680 News. Are you struggling to lose weight? At the Bernstein Diet and Health Clinics, we've been helping people lose weight and feel great for over 40 years. And we can help you lose up to 20 pounds per month without exercise or diet pills. Whether you want to lose 10 pounds, 30 pounds, or more, our team of nurses and doctors will ensure that your weight loss is healthy and long-lasting. So stop struggling and start succeeding. Call us today at 1-888-DRB-DIET or visit drbdiet.com to learn more. Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont. Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Fremont.com.
6 News Time, 11:41.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Well, Stuart, today's a pretty good day for you and I, wouldn't you say? I mean,
yeah, I would say so. Super Bowl.
Right. And look what we get to eat tonight. I mean, we're substituting our chicken and our fish for what? My understanding is you ordered a pizza to your house?
I do have a pizza coming. I've been ordered by my significant other to pick up deep fried pickles, nice chicken wings. So it's gonna be good food, busy night. Yeah,
sounds like a good night. Yes, it's a good drive as well right now. This report brought to you by Niagara University. And there's a new problem though. Stalled vehicle West 401 west of Leslie in the Express, looking at the far right lane blocked off. But we do have MTO crews on scene. Not too much of a delay traveling through here. Again, collectors, you're better off, but Express getting a bit busy as you travel through that area. Of course, the road conditions certainly worsening right now with some of that snow coming down. It's pretty gloomy out there as well, so just make sure your full lighting system's on once you're out there. Eastbound on the 401 gets a little bit busy through Kipling. Not much going on beyond that. If you're east on the QEW, things getting a little busy as you travel through Dixie, but overall, it's a really light drive this morning. We haven't seen much at all happen, so that stalled vehicle on the West 401 past Leslie in the Express, that's our lone issue. Keep in mind, though, Burnham Thorpe still closed in Etobicoke from Mattis Road to Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard. That's all for a crash that went on. Hydro poles are down as well, so this cleanup could be pretty lengthy. Westbound Shepherd at Keele, right lane, right turn lane, both of those taken out. Keele is also closed north of Wilson at Calvington Road for a crash. Earn your MBA at Niagara University in Vaughan. Learn more and register for spring every Thursday at their info session at 5:30, niagarau.ca. Again, niagarau.ca. Let's check the forecast. Here's Denise Andriacci.
Some mixed precipitation showing up now in parts of the GTA. So conditions are still slick. Temperatures right now between 0 and 2 degrees for most of the GTA. So some pockets picking up heavier snow. And then we will see, of course, the mixing like we're seeing now kind of continue on and off through the afternoon. Should taper off by the evening. Some fog patches develop. Tomorrow, very mild, mostly cloudy, few sunny breaks, and near 6 degrees. Your guaranteed high today is 2.
680 News Time, 11:43.
It's a time-honored tradition hearing our long-term forecast for a furry rodent. Some good news from Wyerton Willie on this Groundhog Day, but it came with a bit of a snafu. 680's Zahir Hashimi explains.
It's apparently not down to a science. There was a bit of confusion this morning as Wyerton Willie delivered his big prediction for Groundhog Day 2020. He initially predicted an early spring, but apparently there was some confusion.
Well, I don't think you can see its shadow, so it's 6 more weeks.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 6 more weeks of winter.
That awkward reaction is because if the groundhog does not see his shadow, that actually means an early spring. I get it, forecasting is hard, but long before the rodent forecast, the actual meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai knew what Wyerton Willie would predict.
And your forecast is going to be for an early spring, which is going to coincide nicely with what the climatologists over at Environment Canada are saying for a warmer than average next 3 months.
Meantime, Shubenacadie Sam says 6 more weeks. Puxatawny Phil also says an early spring. And Lucy the Lobster, yeah, you heard that right, predicts 6 more weeks. I'm Zahir Hashimi.
Buying a new home? Then Caitlin Homes has a variety of innovative incentive offers for you. Choose from a selection of Caitlin inventory homes and offers that best suit your unique needs. Like 0% interest, exclusive Caitlin Homes rebates up to $40,000, or one of their rent-to-own programs. Yes, you can own a new home in Bowmanville. But these incentives won't last long. Limited inventory available.
For more details, visit CaitlinCorp.com. Certain conditions apply.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
A mix of rain and snow in downtown Toronto. It's 1 degree. Good morning from the 680 News broadcast center. I'm Stuart McGinn.
And I'm Caitlin Lee. Here are the top stories this hour.
2 people injured and a suspect killed after a reported terrorist attack in a district, south of London, England. Local police say it started with 2 people being stabbed amongst a crowd before the suspect in the case was taken down. And a 44-year-old Wuhan man has died while traveling in the Philippines, marking the first fatality involving coronavirus outside of China. In response, the Philippines has issued a travel ban for any Chinese nationals. Officials here at home are calling, though, for unity.
Now, with a quick check on traffic, here is Zach Bodenstein.
And we have a westbound 401 problem west of Leslie in the Express, blocking the right lane of stalled vehicles there with MTO crews on scene. That's why things are busy from west of the 404 in the Express to west of Leslie. I'll get a full check on your roads at 11:51.
I'm Denise Andrietti in the 680 News Weather Center. It's going to look and feel like spring by tomorrow. But for Groundhog Day today, a guaranteed high of 2 degrees.
Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Shoa Lee.
Thanks, Stuart. Well, the Battle of Ontario went down last night at Scotiabank with the Leafs winning 2-1 against the visiting Senators. Mitch Marner scored an OT to win it for Toronto. They're now off until Monday, while they'll have an important divisional game against the Florida Panthers. Florida is just 2 points back of Toronto. You can listen to that game tomorrow on The Fan. Over in Melbourne, Novak Djokovic is the champ once again. He beat Dominic Thiem in 5 sets for his record 8th win at the Australian Open. After the win, Djokovic is now ranked #1 in the world with his 17 Grand Slam titles. He trailed only Roger Federer with 20 and Rafael Nadal with 19. The Raptors, meanwhile, they were off last night. They'll play this evening against the Chicago Bulls. You can listen to that one right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan with Eric Smith and Paul Jones. And the big game is finally here. Super Bowl Sunday has arrived as the 49ers and Chiefs kick things off tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Sports at 58:45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 11:47.
Every small to medium-sized business has one. The IT guy that isn't really an IT guy that everyone depends on to fix their IT problems.
At first, it was no big deal. Just people looking to change a password or print something. Next thing I know, we're talking DDoS attacks, cloud migration, and something called autocation.
Oh, boy.
Do you have any idea how much money this company loses every time the server goes down?
As a matter of fact...
Who do these people think I am? Some kind of tech-head ninja code-writing cloud hosting guru?
Actually, that sounds exactly like us.
I'm the president.
We're just crossed again.
I don't have time for this.
That's okay, because we do. We're Apps on Net.
Apps on what?
Apps on Net. And we're it when it comes to managed IT services for small to medium-sized business.
Go on.
Endpoint support, network security, proactive maintenance.
Cloud hosting?
100%.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Sold.
Get the relief you need with IT support from Apps on Net. Visit us online at allgainnopain.ca or call 1-855-255-4667. That's 1-855-ALL-G-NO-P.
680 News Time, 11:48. We don't know where it came from. That's what RCMP in Nova Scotia are saying after a molasses cake containing THC was served to students and staff at a school this past week. The cake left many who ate it feeling ill, including an adult that ended up seeking medical attention. RCMP say they still don't know how this happened, and right now they're looking into whether it was potentially an intentional act. 680 News Time, 11:49. Is any about to get a starring role in a major motion picture film? 680's Richard Southern explains.
Hollywood has long looked at Toronto as a place to shoot its movies, taking advantage of our low tax rates for productions. But now it seems Hollywood wants to make a movie centered around the Six. Coming to the big screen later this year is an action comedy called Man from Toronto. It's going to star American comedic actor Kevin Hart and English actor Jason Statham. It's due out from Sony Studios and Columbia Pictures on November 20th. No word on exactly what it's about. However, there was a 1993 British rom-com with the same title. It was about 2 strangers, one from Toronto, one from England, who inherited a big sum of money. The only deal was they had to get married to cash in on it. So it could be something along the same lines. Richard Southern, 680 News.
Coming up next on 680 News, we get a check of traffic and your extended weather forecast, including word on when all this snow might stop. 680 News time, 11:50.
$1 million. What am I going to do? I'm going to force two people to get married after I die.
Details at 680news.com.
Hi, it's Ivanka Osmak. Normally, I'm a sports anchor for Sportsnet, but today I'm spreading the news about Sleep Country's Aquagel pillow. To be honest, I'd never even heard of a gel pillow before their sleep experts suggested I try it out, and I'm glad they did. The pillow is so comfortable. It's made with a water-based gel, so it's a super breathable alternative to memory foam that cradles your neck and keeps you cool. I've always been a little picky about my pillow, but that was totally embraced when I went to Sleep Country. Their sleep experts are sleep obsessed. It was amazing to see all of the options they could recommend based on just a few things I told them about my sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm sure they'll be able to recommend a great pillow to you. Plus, right now, when you buy one Aquagel pillow, you get a second Aquagel pillow free. Get matched to your perfect pillow at Sleep Country or order online at sleepcountry.ca today. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
680 News time, 11:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. Stop vehicle on the westbound 401 west of Leslie in the express that has the right lane blocked. So that's really starting to jam up express lanes from west of the 404 to past Leslie. Everything else on the west 401 is pretty good. So if you can get in the collectors for a little bit, that's probably your best bet. Right now, eastbound 401 slowing down just a tad through Winston Churchill. But other than that, the east 401's in really good shape. Again, the drive overall is good. But you want to have your full lighting system on, gloomy conditions and some snowfall coming down. Off of the major routes, Burnham-Thorpe shut down from Mattis Road to Burnham-Thorpe Park Boulevard for a crash. There's some down hydro wires through this area as a result of the collision. And we still have this closure of Keele north of Wilson at Calvington Road. A car drove into a hydro pole very early this morning at 5:30. Crews still have that area blocked off. This year, 407 ETR is adding 30 kilometers of new lanes to keep up with increasing traffic and keep your commutes fast, safe, and reliable. Visit 407etr.com. Next report is at 12:01 with Christine Langos. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Some flurries mixed with rain at times today as temperatures climb throughout the afternoon. Chance of showers and lows near zero for tonight with some fog patches developing. Mainly cloudy, a few sunny breaks and highs near +6 for Monday. -2 Monday night with some mixed precipitation possible again. And a chance of flurries Tuesday, highs near +1. The guaranteed high today, 2 degrees.
That's a mix of rain and snow still coming down in downtown Toronto right now. It's 1 feeling like -4.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Compact from Porter & Charles. Save 15% on Porter & Charles affordable European appliances, ranges, steam ovens, and dishwashers. Ideal for full-size or small kitchens in bunkies and in-law suites. Sale ends April 30th. Visit ELA.ca.
Coming up at noon, we'll have the very latest from a suburb south of London, England, after a reported terrorist attack involving the stabbing of 2 people. Metropolitan Police have since shot and killed the suspect. 680 News time, 11:53.
At Muskoka Woods, they believe that reflecting on positive experiences helps kids grow in confidence, and that starts with fun.
The best thing about Muskoka Woods is probably the wide array of activities they offer. For me, fun is art, and I love the artistic activities. I like that because it's a really social time, so you get to know your friends better.
Great staff, activities, and facilities like no other, combined for unlimited confidence-boosting fun. Muskoka Woods, experience for a lifetime. Visit MuskokaWoods.com.
Muskoka Woods.
Be the first to know with 680 News breaking news alerts.
Delivered to your device the moment it happens.
Powered by the Monitoring Center Home Security.
Subscribe now
at 680news.com.
680 News time, 11:54. Well, we're kind of hearing what we're missing out on. Some big ads playing during the Super Bowl tonight, of course, but Canada won't get them after a recent court ruling.
You can't touch this.
Those Super Bowl ads bring the fun, like this one for Cheetos Popcorn with MC Hammer. Advertising executive Mark DiMassimo.
There's no other broadcast where you can bring this many people together. The brand lift has been shown to be measurable.
Another fun ad, the Avocados for Mexico Shopping Network. We're buying stuff for your avocados. Totally isn't weird. There's also ads that tug at your heartstrings.
Hey, Google,
Show me photos of me and Loretta.
And then there's the competing political ads from Trump and Bloomberg, with each campaign spending an estimated $10 million. I'm Julie Walker.
Now the 680 News Community Cruiser Report with Stephanie Henry. It's brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota.
Today might just be the worst day to talk wedding dress shopping and decor at home with your partner. So let's take the conversation over to the wedding show. It's happening right now at the Regency in King Ballroom. Network with wedding professionals, gather intel on the best decor, themes, and options for your big day, and enter for a chance to win a ton of amazing prizes, including a gorgeous wedding band. Admission is between $5 and $10. It's running until 5. Reporting from the streets of Toronto in the All News Cruiser, brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota. I'm Stephanie Henry.
Next on 680 News, your weekend business report, 680 News time, 11:55.
Game Day Sunday. The excitement, the heart-pounding adrenaline.
And the hearty Italian classics from Palma Pasta. Change up your game day traditions. Feed your hungry fans with an extra large meat or veggie lasagna for $65.99 or a large lasagna for $26.99. Today only. Cheesy and hearty. Perfect for the big game. For locations, visit palmapasta.com. Palma Pasta, Italian tradition.
Delicious.
This ad is only 15 seconds long. 2-hour TTC transfers with your Presto card are 480 times longer. So if this ad feels like it goes on forever, just think of how long you'll have to get all your errands done with just one fare. Presto. Tap on. There's an app for finding ghosts and an app that makes you old. There's even an app that lets you talk to an animated hippo. Isn't it time you got an app you actually use? Download the Presto app and stay on top of your daily commute. Presto. Tap on.
680 News time, 11:56. Now the 680 News weekend business report with a focus on small business, brought to you by Scotiabank Business Banking.
I'm Chris McCusker. For any small business, branding is key. And it's not just about your product. It's about your values and your mission. Lisa Bragg is the founder and CEO at MediaFace.
One thing that a lot of small business owners forget, though, is that they're part of the marketing message and the branding all the way through and through. So yes, you want to have a big, broad message for your corporation, your company, but then you also need to think about what your own personal brand is and how are you going to work to promote the company. So when you're out there talking to people, networking, you're also promoting your company. So having all of your conversation points ready to go is incredibly important to today's really competitive landscape where there's so much noise.
And social media is part of this?
So you can really amplify your thoughts and feelings through social media, using LinkedIn, especially for business owners. But it's really critical that as you're talking about yourself, that you're really thinking of in advance about your messages and how you want to be portrayed in those different mediums. But you can really reach a lot of potential customers through social media.
Now, I'm guessing that picking the right social media is important too.
Yes, definitely. You really want to know where your audience lives and where they play and what's appropriate for your brand. You don't want to be on something that you're not familiar with and that you're just getting on the latest and greatest. It's just not worth it. My suggestion always is that you have to look at your budget and think, I'm really going to invest in this one area and I'm going to be really, really good at it. Because if you're trying to spread yourself too thin, it comes off as you're not authentic and you're not going to go deep enough to make some good connections.
Lisa Bragg is the founder and CEO at MediaFace. And with a spotlight on small business, I'm Chris McCusker.
When you need to know, now.
680news.com. You've worked hard to open and manage your business. You shouldn't have to work hard with your banking. That's why Scotiabank offers the right size account for business. A flexible bank account that adjusts to your everyday business banking needs. With convenient online access and low transaction fees, they can help keep your finances running smoothly. And for a limited time, you can get $100 when you open a right size account for business and a business credit solution. Certain conditions must be met. Talk to a Scotiabank advisor today.
Hey, you almost ready for the party tonight?
You bet. Just finishing my run on my Bowflex Max trainer first.
Is that the one you got from TSC?
Yeah. Plus, I'm loving my Beats headphones, so I'm going to go for one more song.
Living well looks good on you. Shop tsc.ca.
Hey,
You want to grab something to eat on the way to work?
I can do you one better. I made a smoothies with my new Vitamix blender from TSC and added a dash of Boku Superfood.
Look at us getting all our greens in before breakfast.
Living well looks good on
TSC.ca.
And macaroni
Checking
and
some
cheese.
regional conditions now in Uxbridge. Some light snow. It's -1, -1 in Newmarket. Snow there as well. -2 in Shelburne. It's snowing there too. Also snow in the Kitchener, Cambridge area and Hamilton where it's 0. Then downtown Toronto right now, 1 degree, mix of rain and snow. I'm Stuart McGinn. Have a great afternoon and enjoy the Super Bowl. 6:80 news time, 12 o'clock.
#1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good afternoon. This is Sunday, February the 2nd. I'm Eden Debeba.
And I'm Asher Roth. Here's what's making news right now.
London Metropolitan Police confirm a man has been shot by armed officers following a stabbing. 2 people have been injured in what UK officials are declaring a terrorist-related incident.
The first international death in the new coronavirus has been reported in the Philippines.
From the team to the food to the halftime show, we've got a rundown on everything you need to know ahead of tonight's Super Bowl.
It's Groundhog Day, and the results are
doesn't have a
in.
reason to
Myerson
fucking
Willie,
attack
Shubenacadie Sam, and Puxatawny Phil will reveal their predictions for the season.
And coming up in business, we'll check on the latest economic signals for clues whether or not we can expect any moves on interest rates by the Bank of Canada.
The Leafs pick up 2 points in the Battle of Ontario, and Novak Djokovic wins the Australian Open. Sports at 15.
It's always a battle. It's always a battle.
12:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good afternoon, Christine Lango.
Thank you, Eden Asher. Good afternoon. This report is brought to you by IA Clarington Investments. Well, despite the snow and less than ideal driving conditions, the routes around the GTA are pretty lightly traveled. So there's a bit of good news for you. Now, we do have one issue going on westbound 401 west of Leslie in the Express. It's a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane. We'll probably see a lot of those today. We have emergency crews on scene, and as a result, westbound 401 is slow from the 404 in the Express. And eastbound 401 just starting to build through Mississauga Road and through Kipling as well. Northbound Don Valley Parkway, we had a bit of volume north of Lawrence, but it looks like even that's starting to ease off. It looks like everyone is taking their time and driving cautiously. Don't forget that construction east and westbound on the Gardiner between York and the Don Valley Parkway, where it's down to 2 lanes only, but I'm not spotting any delays through that stretch. Westbound Kiel at Shepherd, we had a collision blocking lanes. It looks like that's been cleared away according to MTO. And north and southbound Kiel, north of Wilson, is blocked because of a collision from this morning. IA Clarington, where they believe in the value of active management to navigate today's complex markets. Visit iaclarington.com. Your next report is at 12:11. And now with a check of the forecast, good afternoon, Jason Fraser.
Good afternoon, Christine, and good afternoon, everybody. Right now, we're seeing some light snowfall across the GTA, and that includes Vaughan, Newmarket, the city of Toronto, as well as Mississauga. This is going to continue over the next couple of hours. We might even see some of those snow showers become rain showers as the temperature increases above the freezing mark. Later on tonight, the precipitation will end, and we could see some fog develop, some spots, low temperature of 0. Right now at Pearson, it's 0 degrees. The guaranteed high is
Somebody
+2
opened their
degrees.
car door once when I was riding my bike and I spilled my Slurpee.
London Metropolitan Police have shot and killed a man today after multiple people were stabbed in a southern residential neighborhood.
At this time, the scene has been fully contained. As 680's Michelle Mackey tells us, officers are now investigating the motive behind the terror-related incident, and she joins us live with the very latest. Michelle.
Asher Metropolitan Police confirmed armed officers have shot and killed a man following a terrorist-related incident. At least 2 people have been injured in the stabbing. No word yet on their condition. Witnesses report hearing 2 gunshots just after 2 p.m. local time. Reporter Tom Rivers has more.
One witness, a 19-year-old student, says he was crossing the street when a man with a machete and what he describes as silver canisters on his chest was being chased by an individual. Says the man with a large knife was then shot. Ambulances then descended onto the scene.
And as Sky News reports, the Streatham neighborhood where the incident happened is a densely populated shopping and dining area.
Certainly the sort of place that people would have been coming to spend some time on Sunday, and really a sense of shock from people here that this has happened and the high street is now closed off.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has expressed his concern for those injured. On Twitter, he thanked emergency services that responded to the incident. Stay with 680 as we continue to follow this developing story. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
This is 680 News at 12:04. As the death toll from the novel coronavirus grows in China, the first death from the illness has been reported outside of the country. A 44-year-old Wuhan man has died from the virus while traveling in the Philippines. 680's Leah Johansson has the latest developments. The Department of Health says there were 2 confirmed infections in the Philippines, with the first case in the country confirmed just on Thursday. A 44-year-old Chinese man died yesterday. Philippines Health Secretary Francisco Duque says the patient developed severe pneumonia.
In his last few days, the patient was stable and showed signs of improvement. However, the condition of the patient deteriorated within the last 24 hours, resulting in his demise.
There have been more than 14,000 cases of the virus and more than 300 people have died. This is the first time a death has been reported outside mainland China. I'm Leah Johansson.
680 News Time, 12:05. Amid concerns surrounding the novel coronavirus, many are looking for ways to better protect themselves. Bruce Wild is the City TV health expert. He says things like elderberry and vitamin D can keep your immune system strong.
Taking a natural medicine, like an herb or a botanical, that conveys a health benefit, such as the ability to boost what are called natural killer cells. And these are types of cells that are kind of like Pac-Man cells. They're a unique part of our immune system that unbiasedly gobble up all kinds of viruses, any virus that might enter your body.
Wild says you should check with a pharmacist or doctor about the dosage. And he adds a lack of sleep, stress, and an unhealthy diet can actually work against your immune system, making you more prone to sickness.
This is All News Radio 680 News. We're learning more about a shooting at an Airbnb in the City Place neighborhood that claimed the lives of 3 men. Police have identified the victims as 21-year-old Jalen Colley of Brampton, 20-year-old Joshua Gibson Skier, also of Brampton, and 19-year-old Tyrone Noseworthy of Toronto. A 4th man was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening gunshot injuries. Officers responding to calls of the shooting at a high-rise on Queens Wharf Road near Fort York and Bathurst on Friday night. 2 firearms have been recovered, and police believe the shooters involved are among the deceased. They are not searching for any suspects at this time.
680 News Time, 12:07.
That is so fucked up.
Happening now in Etobicoke, road closures in effect due to live hydro wires. Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard and Mattis Road are both off limits. Police say a vehicle struck a hydro pole, which made the wires come down. Keep it here on 680 News. We will let you know when those roads reopen.
This is 680 News at 12:07. The big game is here. Super Bowl 54 is just hours away, with the Kansas City Chiefs facing off against the San Francisco 49ers in Miami. 680's Zach Bodenstein has a preview of the 2 hungry fan bases hoping to see their team snag a long-awaited win.
Okay, yes, we'll get to the food and we'll talk about the halftime show, but I think we should also discuss the actual game that's going on, right? The San Francisco 49ers are looking to win their first Super Bowl since 1995, which was before I was even born, so it's been a while, but don't tell that to Chiefs fans. Kansas City hasn't won a title since 1970, but they do have arguably the best quarterback in the sport, in Patrick Mahomes. The problem is that San Francisco defense is pretty darn good. So who has the edge? The Chiefs are the betting favorite before kickoff, and the odds are in their favor for their superstar to win Super Bowl MVP. What am I looking forward to? How about ditching the chicken breast, white fish, and rice for pizza and wings? Looks like I'm the biggest winner of the night. I'm Zach Bodenstein.
680 News Time, 12:08. Well, the Super Bowl can be a big day even if you're not exactly a football fan. There's plenty to get excited about beyond the sports, including the tasty finger foods and exciting halftime shows. 680's Meg Black has more on the silent minority enjoying the frills around Super Bowl 54.
Well, Super Bowl segment is in the air, and I asked Mackenzie if she's looking forward to tonight. You know, not to take I'm just going to watch for the halftime show. Well, at least sounds excited.
Well, at the start of the season, I sort of said the Chiefs, I'll keep backing them.
And some are a little sour that their team didn't make it this far.
Well, my team is the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl this year.
But he's willing to shift his allegiance to the Chiefs to show some Canadian spirit.
They got 2 offensive linemen. One's from Montreal, and one's from North Bay. So that's kind of cool to see a Canadian Super Bowl.
Kickoff it tonight at 6:30 on Night Live. And
And while many here in the city will be binging on food, the reality is on any given day, nearly 9,000 people are homeless and without food in Toronto. Tonight, Covenant House and the Good Shepherd Ministries are teaming up with Rabba Fine Foods to deliver special meals for their guests. Rick Rabba, president of Rabba Fine Foods, will also be joining them to spend time with the guests. Still to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones, but first to check on gas prices.
680 News time.
Who are the people that shop in that fucking store?
Toronto. Gloomy, chilly winds and overcast skies. Ugh, that sounds fun. Take a break from dreary and get into the warmth of Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. You'll enjoy more colors, shapes, and sizes under one roof than you could possibly imagine. From Rainbow Reef to Canadian waters and Dangerous Lagoon, there's a world just waiting for you to explore. So when the weather tempts you to stay inside, explore an underwater world in the heart of downtown Toronto. Tickets at Ripley'sAquariumofCanada.com.
Now, 680 News gas price update. Enbro predicts the price of gas will stay the same at midnight, holding at just under $1.10 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next.
680 News time, 12:10.
Do you suffer from CRM mail anxiety? Does the sight of a brown envelope make you sweat? Are the envelopes...
This shit is fucked up. They want to bring out staffless libraries, and it's become a political issue here in Toronto. People have lawn signs about this. Librarians face increasing violence on the job. Toronto Public Library figures show part of the problem is fewer staff at the branches, Librarians Union says. Books, staplers, even computer monitors have been tossed at Toronto Public Library staff who are reporting violent incidents on the job at an increasing rate. Librarians in Toronto say they are the target of an increasing amount of violence and abuse, including spitting, verbal threats, and staplers and books thrown their way. Books. You should have some big ass fucking books to throw back at them. Data provided by the Toronto Public Library to CBC Toronto shows the number of reported cases is growing. Officials blame the increase on quote-unquote societal issues. The increase of violence is a societal issue, so that's circular. That's very circular. And also say staff are more aware of the importance of documenting incidents, implying that there is no increase, they're just recording more of them. In 2011, there were 103 reported cases of violent and abusive behavior and 262 cases of threatening behavior or verbal threats. By 2018, that number had climbed to 249 reported cases of violent and abusive behavior and 623 cases of threats. That's kind of fucked up. With more than 17 million visits to the city's 100 branches last year, the TPL says it is the world's busiest urban public library system. I didn't know that. The unions have also stuff to stay. I don't know. So the unions are going on and on about reducing staffing levels. Boosting security, training, and support for staff. In a statement, a library spokesperson told CBC Toronto a contributing factor to increasing violence is, quote, issues of our urban environment. Issues of our urban environment. This is a societal issue more so than a staffing issue. We have heard from our partners across the city that the increase in incidents is not unique to libraries. No, it's not. Every fucking businesses are having to call cops because people are doing drug deals inside and all sorts of crazy shit's going on. There's people getting shot up in condo buildings and shit. fucking. The library says it's added more security and moved staff across the system to help balance out levels. Well, that does I don't believe that. That just means some other library has less staff now. The statement goes on to list several initiatives underway by the TPL, among them boosting its annual security budget over the last 3 years by $1.4 million to $2.9 million in 2020, and increasing its mobile security service so it can respond faster in times of need. Which means they don't have security at every library. They have some dude in a car that'll respond to whatever library has a problem. TPL officials say they're also hiring a social worker to develop a, quote, system-wide approach for developing services for vulnerable populations, end quote, and will offer more training courses and support for staff. Train them in Kung Fu. You got the books. And I swear the link to the related articles, Why Toronto Libraries Are a Hotspot for the Homeless. This is this guy's own fault. Don't run to Toronto if you got warrants. Digital footprints lead cops to Arizona fugitive in Toronto. A man who pleaded guilty to murder before fleeing Arizona. How do you flee after you plead guilty? Before fleeing Arizona over 16 years ago to avoid being sentenced, has been arrested in Canada after police followed digital footprints provided by social media posts of his family and friends, authorities said. What the fuck are you doing on social media? The fugitive, 32-year-old Aidan, 16 years, he was 15. Aidan Perez Huerta was arrested in Toronto and returned to Arizona, where he was booked into a jail Thursday. Now, if that had happened here and he had done his time, nobody would know his name, and he'd be out of jail already. An arrest warrant was issued for Huerta after he pleaded guilty to negligent homicide but didn't appear for his sentencing in 2003. The case stemmed from the 2002 death of a 19-year-old woman who was his passenger in a vehicle driven by Huerta. She was fatally injured when the vehicle struck an electrical box and caught fire in a Phoenix suburb. You got a murder case for that? I didn't read this one before. Huerta, who also was seriously injured in the early morning wreck, had a blood alcohol level of 0.16. Well, that's why. The Chandler Police Department said in a statement, that's twice Arizona's legal limit of 0.08. A Chandler detective last spring began searching for Huerta by checking social media posts of his relatives and associates. And those eventually led to posts by Huerta himself, said Sergeant Jason McClimans, a department spokesman. How do you keep the same associates after that long when you're a kid? And what are you doing on social media? McClimans said the detective was able to determine Huerta was in Toronto, leading to his arrest by Toronto police. Yeah, that'll happen. U.S. Marshals took Huerta into custody and he was extradited to the United States. Quote, social media always leaves a digital footprint, McClimans told the Associated Press in an email. Chandler police believe Huerta lived in Canada for at least a year, and he apparently was using his real name before being arrested, McClimans said. Oh, wow. Jennifer Leeuwer, spokeswoman for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, said Huerta, for now, is only charged in the homicide case. Additional charges may be filed after a prosecutor reviews the file, she said. You can't charge him for being dumb as rocks, can you? Huerta's defense attorney, Paul, how does he have an attorney already? Defense attorney Paul Ramos said Saturday he could not comment. We have Canada's only fugitive squad, and the OPP's got this rope squad, and fucking they're always catching people from other fucking places. They're always catching people from other fucking places on old murder beefs and shit. Don't come here if you're trying to hide. But, I mean, stay off Facebook, too, would be the logical thing. There was 3, wasn't there? No, I'm not going to read this one, but I swear to God. December 15th, 2016. Why Toronto libraries are a hot spot for the homeless. Who is that article for? Who is that article for? That's for the homeless guy to read about himself is what this article is for.
To cyber crime and homicide. In some cases, detectives going directly from the crime scene to the classroom.
It was very interesting where I had one student put up a hand and asked a question to him, and she said, "Didn't I just see you on the news last night?" Our homicide officer said, "Yes, that was me."
The Community Police Academy is free of charge. You can apply on the Toronto Police website. Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time, 12:20.
Catholic teachers are fighting to preserve one of the best education systems in the world. We want to give every student a chance to succeed. The Ford government is overcrowding classrooms and destroying opportunities for students. We need to stop them before it gets worse. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills we teach. How to separate fact from spin.
Shit, the
Don't
Catholic
fall for this
school
government's
board.
misinformation. No more. Visit
Teaches
knowmore.ca
critical
to
thinking.
help us reverse the cuts. A message from the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association.
Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont, a Blue Mountain chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000.
Live on a fucking
For more
mountain.
information or directions to our sales office, visit Fremont.com.
680 News Time, 12:21.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Christine Lango.
This report is brought to you by Alterna Savings. Well, do give yourself plenty of extra time if you're heading out for a drive this afternoon because of the conditions. Visibility is poor in some areas and not so bad in others, so be prepared for anything and drive cautiously.
Somewhere between no
volume is also very
accumulation
light on
and
the
an
major
inch.
routes this afternoon, so that's what we have going
Possibly
for us.
snow,
Eastbound 401
rain,
at the
snow
400 in the
showers,
collectors, they
blah, blah,
clear
blah,
this
blah, blah,
problem
blah,
out of the
blah.
right lane. We do still have a crash on the eastbound 407
Frozen,
Eastern
slushy,
Brand. This one's
ice
affecting the
cube
left
looking
lane,
shit.
but
It's
it's not
gonna hit
causing a
you
big
while you're
delay for
driving.
you at this time. And finally, those troubles westbound 401 west of Leslie Express have cleared away. It's
It'll
slow going
break
though
your
westbound
windshield
401
and
from
freeze
the
the windshield
404 to
wipers
west of
to the
Leslie and
glass
the
at the same
Express.
time.
That should start to improve. We're trouble-free on the 404 John Valley Parkway combination and no problems on the Gardner-QE combination this afternoon. Burnham Thorpe, that's still closed from Matisse Road to Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard because of a collision. And we have Keel Street closed at Calvington Road, which is north of Wilson. Saving for retirement doesn't have to be scary. Talk to an advisor at Alterna Savings about the best plan for you. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment. Alterna Savings, discover the good in banking. Your next report at 12:31. Now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Jason Fraser.
Pieces of
Well,
paper
right now
out
we're
of the
seeing
bank
light
machine.
snow move across the GTA, and this is going to be the story for the
not
next couple of
paying extra
hours. And
for
as
the
we
fucking
see the
freezer.
temperature increase above the freezing mark, one of the things you're going to notice is that some of those snowflakes are going to become either freezing rain or some rain showers. So we'll end up seeing anywhere between a coating to up to 4 centimeters possible as far as final snow accumulations go, but some of this will not end up sticking to the ground. Now, overnight, we will see some fog develop as the low temperature dips down to 0. Tomorrow, it's going to be a beautiful one across the GTA. We'll see plenty of sunshine after that fog dissipates, and it will be abnormally warm. We're talking about a high of +7 degrees. For Tuesday, Tuesday, though, we'll see a few flurries possible with a high of +1. And then Wednesday, we return back to normal. In the temperature department, we'll see a high of -2 degrees and a mix of sun and clouds. And then for Wednesday and Thursday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds then. And we could end up seeing on Thursday the potential for a next weather system that could dump upwards of 10 centimeters of snow. High temperature then of 0 degrees. Right now it's 0 degrees at Pearson. Guaranteed highs +2.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have the latest on the police investigation in London as officers respond to a violent attack on city streets.
680 News Time, 1224.
Your insurance denied your disability claim, and the bills from the holidays and everyday living are piling up. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my team of lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Weather watches. Warning. When severe weather hits, you'll be in the know instantly with the 680 News Weather Alert.
Toronto's largest team of meteorologists are always monitoring the conditions to keep you safe.
When you need to know, we've got you covered.
Hey, weather specialists. Don't leave out the weather specialists.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Coming up in just 60 seconds, our weekend business report. 680 News Time, 1225.
Hello, it's the announcement system for Go Transit. Here to announce kids 12 and under can ride the Go for free. That's right, free. So I made this commercial for free. It's easy. I just say whatever people type. DJFLLLL. Sorry, a cat walked on my keyboard. Anyways, think of all the adventures kids can go on. I'm so jealous. Why did they program me to feel human emotions? Discover more at gotransit.com/kidsgofree.
Northwood Mortgage people work harder to find solutions just for you. One example, Northwood regularly helps families get into new homes after the bank has turned them down. Unlike the big banks, Northwood Mortgage is more flexible. Northwood Mortgage listens and works harder to create a solution that's customized for you. Northwood Mortgage. Visit northwoodmortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
License 10349.
680 News Time, 1226. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Mike Apple. The latest signals for Canada's economy are still not giving a clear sign whether the Bank of Canada should be cutting interest rates. The November growth print from Stats Canada showed an expansion for the economy of 0.1%, which was better than expected, but still mediocre, according to Doug Porter, chief economist at BMO Capital Markets.
But I think from a very big picture, when we look beyond some of the special factors, such as the CN strike, the potash mine shutdown, and usually cold weather in November in much of the country, I think the bigger story is that the Canadian economy is just grinding out very modest underlying growth. In the last 5 months, or the 5 months up to November, there was almost no growth in the Canadian economy after a pretty good first half.
So does this change anything for the central bank's wait-and-see policy on interest rates?
I think the best way for the bank to play this is almost exactly what they've done, and that is stay on the sidelines for now, but basically flag that if something further goes wrong in a meaningful way here, that they are prepared to cut.
Perhaps though, moderating growth signals and concern about consumers, but more emphasis on the January jobs report, which is coming up this week. Royce Mendez, executive director and senior economist at CIBC Capital Markets.
Next week's labor force survey will be extremely important in that if we continue to see weakness in the labor market, that's going to be weighing on the minds of those at the Bank of Canada, since household spending has been really what the governor has been focused on in terms of whether or not the weakness is persistent enough to justify that rate cut. The risks are obviously that there could be an additional debt accumulation on the parts of many Canadian households, but if the unemployment rate is rising, it will at some point become more important to support the incomes of those households to be able to pay the existing debt that's already been taken out.
The January jobs report due on Friday morning. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well,
Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ziprecruiter.ca/CANADA. ziprecruiter.ca/Canada.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by the Canadian Women's Foundation. On Thursday, March 5th, have lunch and LOL with Emmy-nominated comedian Samantha Bee, live in Toronto. Funds raised support the Canadian Women's Foundation. Get your tickets at canadianwomen.org.
Wow.
In Vancouver, light rain, 3 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, rain and snow mix, 1 degree, but feeling like -3 with the wind chill. 680 News Time, 12:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Sunday, the 2nd of February. I'm Asher Roth.
And I'm Eden Dababa. Here's what's making news this hour.
London Metropolitan Police say several people have been stabbed in a terrorist-related incident in Streatham. The Philippines is reporting the first death outside of China connected to the new coronavirus. This comes as China announces the death toll has surpassed 300. We here on Torontonians are celebrating Super Bowl Sunday.
I have no interest in it.
Okay, not everyone's excited, but we sure are.
Even though they don't have their weather credentials, Wyerton Willie, Shubenacadie Sam, and Puxatawney Phil made their weather predictions earlier today. Happy Groundhog Day, everyone.
The Raptors played this afternoon down at Scotiabank, and Novak Djokovic wins the Australian Open for a record 8th time. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, Canadians played it safe, and many are regretting their career choices. We'll hear from an expert on what to keep in mind if you're planning to make a change this year.
I understand that.
680 News Time, 12:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones, and with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Good afternoon, Christine Langos.
Thank you, Asher, and good afternoon. This report is brought to you by Monte Carlo Inns. And as far as the drive is concerned, not a terrible afternoon on the major routes. Now, we're very lucky because I'm not seeing any flooding. We do have slippery sections, and of course, the visibility is poor in the areas where the snow is really coming down. But in some areas, it's really not too bad at all. So be prepared for anything if you're just heading out. Eastbound 407 east of Brant, they've just cleared away that collision from the left lane, and all lanes have been reopened. Westbound 401, a bit slow from Yonge to Avenue Road in the Express, and I'm seeing a slowdown west of Guelph line. No problems on the 404 Don Valley Parkway combination. Everything is up to speed on the westbound Gardner-QE combination. Eastbound Gardner just starting to build as you head off at the Spadina ramp. Don't forget on city streets, Keele Street is closed at Caldington Road, which is north of Wilson, because of a collision. A car driven into a hydro pole, and Burnham Thorpe is closed from Matisse Road to Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard. Looking for a wonderful winter escape? Right now at Monte Carlo Inns, you can save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to MonteCarloInns.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Your next report is at 12:41. And now with a look at the forecast, here's meteorologist Jason Fraser.
Well, Christine, depending on where you are right now, you're either seeing light to moderate snowfall across the region, and that includes the city of Toronto. Later on this afternoon, as the temperature increases to about +2 degrees, we'll see some of that changeover happen, where we'll see some of the snow become either freezing rain or some rain showers, and that's going to continue to make roadways as well as sidewalks pretty treacherous in around the GTA. Later on tonight, we could even see some fog develop, so just be careful as you head to those Super Bowl parties.
Oh, it's going to be foggy too. Ain't everybody's going to be drinking.
Right now it appears at 0 degrees. The guaranteed high is
good time to drive a
+2.
tow truck.
680 News Time, 12:33.
We begin in the UK, where several people have been stabbed in a terror-related incident in a neighborhood in South London.
680's Michelle Mackey is following the latest developments and joins us live now with more. Michelle.
Eden, at least 2 people are believed to be injured following a stabbing in the South London neighborhood. No word yet on their conditions. London Ambulance Services says they are treating a number of patients at the scene, and Metropolitan Police confirm a man has been shot and killed by armed officers. The BBC reports the man went into a shop on the busy high street in Streatham with a knife and started stabbing people. It appears the man then left the shop and stabbed a woman. As ABC's Tom Rivers reports, witnesses describe a chaotic scene.
One witness, a 19-year-old student, says he was crossing the street when a man with a machete and what he describes as silver canisters on his chest was being chased by an individual. Says the man with a large knife was then shot. Ambulances then descended onto the scene.
The Streatham neighborhood in South London has since been fully contained after what officials call a terrorist-related incident.
Detail
Reporting
every
live,
hour.
I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time 1234. The novel coronavirus has been responsible for hundreds of deaths in just a couple of months, but health officials are now reporting the first fatality outside mainland China in the Philippines. 680's Leah Johansson has the latest on the pandemic.
The Philippine Department of Health says the 44-year-old man from Wuhan was admitted to hospital on January 25th and died yesterday. Doctors said the man actually had started to improve, but his condition took a drastic turn after he developed severe pneumonia. Meantime, health officials in China are introducing additional precautions that includes daily temperature checks and additional sanitary precautions for vulnerable groups, including taxi drivers, journalists, and shopkeepers.
Based on our current knowledge of the novel coronavirus, it is spread mainly by droplets and also some contacts.
You come up
There have
with
been more
like
than
a 30-second
14,000
commercial
cases of the virus, and more than 300 people
showing
have
people not
died
to
in
spit
mainland
everywhere.
China, where the virus first broke out.
Or
I'm
like
Leah
spin
Johansson.
away from people at least.
680 News Time, 12:35. Happening now in Etobicoke, Toronto
Sneezing
police
and
have closed
coughing and
off a
all that.
stretch of road due to hydro wires. Vernon Thorpe is closed from Upton Mattis for the incident. Police say a vehicle struck a pole in the area, which caused the wires to fall down. A road closure is in effect due to the live hydro wires. As I said, stay tuned for your traffic reports on the ones for the latest updates.
680 News Time 1236. Well, in case you haven't heard, there's a pretty big football game happening tonight. If you're headed to a Super Bowl party and you don't follow the actual sport itself, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Show Ali is everything you need to know.
It's the biggest day in sports. That's right. The Super Bowl is finally here. The San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs are going head-to-head to determine the NFL champion. History-wise, it's been a while for both teams. The 49ers last played in the Super Bowl in 2013, but last won in 1994. The Chiefs have it even worse. They have only won the big game once, and that was Super Bowl IV back in 1970. To get back to the present day, the current iteration of the Chiefs are favored right now, but only by 2 points, so it's anybody's game. Kansas City is led by QB Patrick Mahomes, who won the NFL MVP trophy last season, while the 49ers paved the way on the ground with their running backs. Their lead back, Raheem Mostert, rushed for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in the conference championship game and will be leaned on heavily by head coach Kyle Shanahan. Injury-wise, all clear on both fronts. As San Francisco running back Tevin Coleman, the only question mark, will suit up after suffering a shoulder injury 2 weeks ago. The Super Bowl goes tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Show Ali.
Now, it's almost a guarantee every Super Bowl party you'll ever attend has 2 groups, those glued to the action on the field and everyone else. 680's Meg Black took to the streets to ask what you're looking forward to.
Kickoff is just a few hours away, so we took to the streets to ask people how they're celebrating Super Bowl 54.
Eating, drinking, and watching the football. So I'm going to watch the game. I'm just on my way now to buy ingredients for chili. And at game time at 6:30, I'll be eating dinner and watching the big game. Go KC!
We're probably going to make some chili and call in front of our TV today. And the Toronto Zoo is joining in the fun, and Butters the Owl has spoken, picking the Kansas City Chiefs as the winner in a choice between
Shit
boxes
on
of treats.
a piece of like paper or something with the team name on it or something stupid.
And if you are headed to a Super Bowl party tonight or anywhere else, our meteorologist Jason Fraser says you may want to bundle up and watch out for slick conditions as the evening rolls on.
As you head out to see the big game later on tonight, one of the big concerns I have is going to be that changeover from snow to some mixed precipitation. As the temperature increases above the freezing mark, we'll likely continue to see the snow showers become either freezing rain or even some rain showers. So that's going to certainly make not only sidewalks, but also some roadways and highways pretty slippery at times. So just make sure that you keep a watchful eye on the roads.
Jason also says we're expecting foggy conditions overnight, so he recommends you take it easy on the drive home.
And just a reminder, if you're taking transit to or from the city's north end, you may want to give yourself some extra time and pack some patience. There's once again no subway service on the Yonge portion of Line 1 between Finch and Eglinton stations. It's for work on the automated signaling system. Shuttle buses are running and regular service should resume by tomorrow morning.
680 News Time 12:38. Well, the groundhog didn't see his shadow this morning, but the mayor of Wyerton had a bit of a flub.
We've got the answers from our groundhogs, but the process went anything but smoothly for our favorite rodent this morning. Not that it really matters, but Wyerton Willie had a bit of a miscommunication with Mayor Janice Jackson.
Well, I don't think he can see his shadow, so it's 6 more weeks.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 6 more weeks of winter.
But wait a minute. If the groundhog does not see his shadow, that actually means an early spring, right? Yeah.
I messed up
How did this
totally.
get not on the fucking air?
I should be fired.
No, Mayor Jackson, let's try that one more time.
The crier's bell did ring. Yes, Willie repeats, or predicts I repeat. It's an early spring.
So there you have it. Willie says an early spring. Shubenacadie Sam says 6 more weeks. And Puxatawny Phil also says an early spring. I'm Zahir Hashimi.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Now, the 680 News gas price update info predicts the price of gas is going to stay the same at midnight, holding at just under $1.10 a liter. Traffic and weather together next. It's 12:40.
I joined because I wanted to help others.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference in someone's life.
To acknowledge that our freedoms come at a cost.
I joined to honor my mom.
My grandpa.
My neighbor.
Everyone who served.
Who are serving still. Honoring veterans is our duty. Join today at legion.ca/join.
Hello, Loblaws shoppers, specifically Paul, who's planning a party for the big game. I'm your snack coach, Paul. Here to make sure your party food is on point.
Okay.
Rush to the hot counter, tackle a bucket of 36 chicken wings and potato wedges, a 2-liter Pepsi beverage, and select varieties of Ruffles, Doritos, or Tostitos snacks, and earn 3,500 PC Optimum points.
Touchdown. Oh, wait. Spicy or mild?
Just get the wings, Paul. Conditions apply. Offer valid until February 5th, 2020, only at participating Loblaws locations. Food lovers unite.
680 News Time 12:41. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Christine Langos.
This report is brought to you by Nissan Canada. You might want to give yourself a bit of extra time if you're heading out for a drive this afternoon. And also, please clear snow off your car, your windows, windshields, roofs, trucks, and hood before you're driving. So that's for good visibility all around. It's just a safe thing to do. Now, we have no troubles on the eastbound 401 across the GTA. Westbound 401 a little slow from Yonge to Avenue Road in the Express, and there's a slowdown west of 12th line. In general, though, the volume on the major routes is in great shape from what I'm looking at on the cameras here. Southbound 400, I can see a bit of a delay from south of Aurora Road off and onto King Road. Once you get further down onto the 401, everything is moving well. And the Gardner Expressway is running up to speed both ways. No problems on the 404 Don Valley Parkway combination. Eastbound Finch, east of Don Mills, we have a disabled vehicle. It looks like a stalled bus, and that's blocking the right lane. So that may cause a bit of a delay for you. And don't forget, Burnham Thorpe is closed at Matisse Road to Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard because of a collision. And Keel is closed at Calvington Road north of Wilson because of a crash. Be a winter warrior with Nissan. Lease or finance Qashqai or Kicks and get up to 3 payments on Nissan up to $1,000. Visit choosenissan.ca. Your next report is at 12:51. And now with the forecast, here is Jason Fraser.
Well, Christine, we continue to see some light snow fall across the GTA, and that includes Mississauga, Vaughan, Newmarket, as well as Toronto. And this is going to continue for the next couple of hours. We will eventually see some of the precipitation transition over into either freezing rain or some rain showers. And final snow accumulations for today will be anywhere between a coating to upwards of 4 centimeters. Later on tonight, the precipitation is going to end, and we will see some fog develop tomorrow. We're going to start out with some fog, but then we're going to see some nice sunshine across the GTA, and we'll see a high temperature of around 7 degrees, which is about 8 degrees above normal for where we should be around this time of year. Right now at Pearson, it's 0 degrees. The guaranteed high is +2.
Freezing rain.
680 News Time, 12:43. Former Humboldt Bronco Ryan Strachnitsky says he's been seeing some positive changes since having spinal surgery last year in Thailand. He had an epidural stimulator implanted in his spine, which is allowing him to walk using a machine and also improving his balance. Strachnitsky, who was paralyzed from the chest down in the Broncos bus crash, said he hopes his experience will convince Health Canada to allow the surgery to be done here in Canada. He had to pay for his own surgery in Thailand.
That is so
680 News Time, 12:44.
Thanks for calling Reliance Home Comfort. It's Jeff. How can I help you?
Hi, can a new furnace really help me save on energy costs?
Well, older furnaces use up to 60% of a home's energy. Upgrading to a high-efficiency furnace could help. If you have an older furnace, it's a great time to replace it. Right now, you can get 25% off our featured furnaces and receive a free Google Nest Learning Thermostat and Nest Hub. But hurry, this offer won't last long. When you need a great deal fast. Conditions apply. See website for details.
Trend alert for the new year? Sleep. It's so hot right now. And the best part, it looks good on everyone. Can't say that about bangs.
Sleep better this year with Sleep Country's year-end model sale. Get amazing prices on select brand new beds in 2019 styles, colors, and fabrics, and our sleep experts will match you to your best sleep. Plus, get a Hot Buy Sealy Eurotop Queen mattress with extra back support, just $4.89. Hurry in store or online. It ends soon. Sleep Country, home for sleep.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
We've got snowfall across the city. It is 1 degree. It feels like -4 with the wind. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour. We continue to follow developing news from the UK, where a number of people have been stabbed in the Streatham area of South London in what's being described as a terror-related incident. At least 2 people are believed to be injured. No word yet on their condition. Police say the scene is now contained and the suspect has been neutralized. Live hydro wires on the portion of Burnhamthorpe Road closed in Etobicoke from Mattis Road to Burnhamthorpe Park Boulevard. This after a vehicle struck a pole, knocking those wires down. The 50 Burnhamthorpe bus route is also diverting in the area. And speaking of transit, work on the signal system upgrade on Line 1, the Young University Spadina line, has no subways running between Finch and Eglinton. Shuttle buses are running. Regular service resumes tomorrow morning. Time now for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Zane. Good afternoon and happy Super Bowl Sunday, Show Ali.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, Asher. The big game is finally here. Super Bowl Sunday is here. The 49ers and Chiefs kick things off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to coverage of all things pre-Super Bowl on Sportsnet today, right here on The Fan. Last night, the Battle of Ontario went down at Scotiabank Arena. The Leafs won 2-1 against the visiting Senators. Mitch Marner scored in OT to win it for Toronto. They're now off until Monday, where they'll have an important divisional game against the Florida Panthers. Florida is just 2 points back of Toronto. You can listen to that game tomorrow on The Fan. Over in Melbourne, Novak Djokovic is the champ once again. He beats Dominic Thiem in 5 sets for his record 8th win at the Australian Open. After the win, Djokovic is now ranked #1 in the world. He has now 17 Grand Slam titles. He trails only Roger Federer with 20 and Rafael Nadal with 19. The Raptors, meanwhile, they were off last night. They'll play this afternoon against the Chicago Bulls. Listen to that one on The Fan as well with Eric Smith and Paul Jones. Sports at 15 and 45 best every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 12:47.
Congestion's all cleared up, so if you're on the expressway, your commute should be as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. So easy that setting up bill payments is as simple as snapping a pic with the RBC mobile app. Open an all-inclusive account by February 27th. They get $300. Conditions apply.
Thanks to you, my daddy got home safely from his day at work.
Thanks to you, my daughter got home safely from her girlfriend's party on the weekend. Thanks to you, my brother and I go to and from practice every week.
Most of us do our part to keep our roads safe by driving sober. We plan ahead,
Designate a driver. Take taxis or transit, stay over, or call home. Thank you for driving sober. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober, and CAA. To find out more, visit arrivealive.org.
Congestion's all cleared up, so if you're on the expressway, your commute should be as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. So easy that setting up bill payments is as simple as snapping a pic with the RBC mobile app. Open an all-inclusive account by February 27th and get $300. Conditions apply.
680 News Time, 1248.
The New York Times has published an investigative piece into what they call an entrenched culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment for those working behind the scenes at Victoria's Secret. Kaylee Harding reports.
The Times describing angels in hell after interviewing more than 30 current and former executives, employees, contractors, and models of Victoria's Secret. According to the report, 71-year-old Ed Razik, a former top executive of L Brands, Victoria's Secret's parent company, played a central role in casting the angels and was the subject of multiple complaints of inappropriate conduct.
And the paper reports Razik tried to kiss models, asked them to sit on his lap, and that he touched one woman's private area ahead of the 2018 Victoria's Secret fashion show. He told ABC News in an email the accusations against him are untrue, misconstrued, or taken out of context. 680 News Time, 1249. Well, class will soon be in session for the spring edition of Community Police Academy. The 9-week course gives members of the public a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to be a Toronto police officer. 680's Kevin Meisner takes a look.
Community Police Academy gives students a chance to put on a vest and strap on a police-issue training gun for actual simulations of police calls. Constable Jamie Shepard says that includes how to subdue a suspect.
The most popular subject taught is scenario-based training. The students are put through the same use of force annual requalification that a TPS officer will receive, with the exception of the firearms qualification.
Students will also hear directly from experts, including Chief Mark Saunders, gang unit officers, forensics, and homicide detectives.
I've had our homicide officer work a homicide on Friday, get no sleep, and show up at 8:30 in the morning to teach the lecture to our students, and they appreciate that.
The course runs for 9 weeks on Saturdays. It won't cost you anything. If you're interested, go to the Toronto Police website to apply. Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we will check the roads in your extended forecast. 680 News Time, 1250.
You're catering a wedding, and the bride says,
Everyone is raving about the hors d'oeuvres. My aunt was asking if you do corporate events.
You look out across all those guests. Your smile beams, your heart pounds. This is the moment when the right business card is essential, and Vistaprint can help. Right now, we're introducing free shipping on all business cards in any quantity. So now imagine that same wedding, but this time, you're ready to own the now with a stack of business cards that are as enticing as your entrees. And Vistaprint caters to any small business. You choose the paper, the shape, and the finish. Go with a square card, or maybe one with rounded corners and a metallic finish. Whatever your style, create a card that gives you the confidence to make the most of every opportunity. Because either you let things happen, or you...
This city is so fucked up. The solution to shootings is to ban Airbnb. No more Airbnb. And the shootings will just disperse. Counselor calls on short-term rental operators to delist ghost hotels after 3 killed in shooting at Toronto Airbnb. A Toronto City Councillor is urging short-term rental operators to delist ghost hotels while shaken residents of a condominium building where 3 died by gunfire say more must be done to ensure their safety. Let's stop with these ghost hotels and these party suites. It's not appropriate, it's not safe, and far too often it's resulting in tragedies like this. Ward 10 Councillor Joe Cressy, Spadina, Fort York, told reporters on Saturday. So how many times does this happen? He made his remarks outside of a condominium building on Queens Wharf Road in the Fort York neighborhood where gunfire erupted at about 10:30 the night before. The social gathering was underway at the time in a 32nd floor unit that was being rented by Airbnb. Three men, ages 22, 20, and 19, died. 2 other men were injured, one of whom is in serious condition in hospital, while the other was treated on scene and is cooperating with investigators. Police said they are no longer looking for a suspect. They have confirmed that the shooter /S died in the shooting. Alex Lee, a media relations officer with Toronto Police, said the victims have been identified as a bunch of people. Lee said police recovered 2 firearms from the scene and that the shooting took place in the unit and the hallways adjacent to it. Cressy called on short-term rental operators such as Airbnb to delist, quote, multiple listings and ghost hotels. Delist all these properties today. In an email to residents Saturday afternoon, the building's management said they will ban short-term rentals. In a later email, management notified residents that a new security company, blah, 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 has been hired for the building. They did not clarify why a new company had been hired. In the notice, the property manager of 85 Queens Wharf said the board and management had discussed the issue of short-term rentals many times, quote, and unfortunately we have many that are in favor of short-term rentals as well as many against. However, it said in light of the incident and violence in the city, so like the libraries, it's just the nature of things right now. Quote, we will be drafting and sending out a new rule, end quote, to limit renting any unit for less than 3 months. Condo owner Shane Rivers said it's not the first time there's been a shooting in a short-term vacation rental in the building. Enough's enough, he said. So it's your building that's the problem, not Airbnb. Your building has a fucking issue. Something about your building is attracting people that want to shoot guns indoors. Quote, we can't keep letting this happen. What are we going to do? Wait until a resident gets shot, he said. Yeah, as long as it's just a visitor that gets shot, it's okay, right? Rivers said he bought his condo 3 years ago and had no idea there were so many Airbnb rentals in the building at the time. You could have found that out by going on Airbnb. As he was speaking to a reporter, a man dragging a suitcase walked by. See, they always love to put little pieces like this in here. I have no idea if this is true. It's just what it says. As he was speaking to a reporter, a man dragging a suitcase walked by. Asked if he was renting an Airbnb in the building. The man said yes. Quote, I'm supposed to say my cousin lives here. He said he had been given instructions on what to say if anyone questioned him. That's very good timing for this journalist. It's incredibly good timing for this journalist. Of course, he's probably hanging out in the hallways of the building all fucking day. Rivers said he attended quote, we are not getting international tourists. These are kids coming in to party, said Carly Zedek, who often stays in the building with her boyfriend who owns a unit. The city has been trying to rein in short-term rentals since it passed regulations 2 years ago. How's that working for you? That were supposed to take effect in June 2018. Short-term landlords, including one whose legal fees were paid by Airbnb, appealed the regulations at the local planning appeal tribunal. So it's all about money. Even 2 dummies shoot 3 dummies. I don't fucking know. 2 guns, 3 dead guys shooting each other in a hallway in a high-rise downtown. It still comes down to developers making money. That appeal was rejected by the tribunal in November, paving way for the city to proceed with the new rules, which would limit short-term rentals to a landlord or tenant's primary residence. So, what if you... However, a group of landlords announced in December they plan to ask a divisional court for leave to appeal the rules. Okay, come on, where are we? Spadina Fort York MP Adam Vaughan, I heard that name somewhere before. Fuck's sakes. What the fuck just happened? Spadina Fort York MP Adam Vaughan had harsh words for Airbnb, charging that the organization is placing lives at risk. Quote, Airbnb is deliberately... These are the same people that fucking sue when their coffee's too hot. Airbnb is deliberately making these neighborhoods dangerous, and I think Airbnb has a lot to be held to account for, he said. That's Airbnb's secret plan, is to make certain neighborhoods more dangerous. He called for the legal challenge by short-term rental landlords to be dropped. The challenge we have for all of us living in condominiums is you come home on a Friday night and there are 15 people in your hallway having a party, and you have to step over them to get to your doorway. It is one thing for a man my size to walk through that, because he's like 6'6". But when it's your daughter or your kid trying to get home, it's not a safe situation, Vaughn continued. I've had that motherfucker at my kitchen table. Friday's incident follows another shooting in a Toronto Airbnb in August when a man suffered life-threatening injuries after he was shot at an Airbnb listed in the Bridle Path. Police said there were 20 to 30 people in the Airbnb at the time of the shooting, and we haven't heard about any of them coming forward to say anything. Just before the new year, Airbnb announced a ban on house parties that extended to Canada and around the world. Well, that helped. In response to Friday's shooting, Toronto just has to test everything. No house parties. Okay, we're going to have a house party, and we're going to shoot it up. In response to Friday's shooting, Airbnb sent a statement Saturday saying it was investigating the incident. So Airbnb has investigators on their staff. Quote, everybody's got so much to say about this shit. Not in my backyard, or we're so sorry, we're investigating. The words keep moving. I was reading this. Here we go. Quote, we are deeply saddened by the tragedy that occurred in Toronto last night, and our thoughts are with all who have been impacted. All who have been impacted. Even the neighbors who are concerned about their resale value and all that other shit. We have zero tolerance for this type of behavior, and we ban both party houses and unauthorized parties on our platform. Zero tolerance for this type of behavior. You mean shooting and killing people? Zero to not even like a 1% tolerance? Zero tolerance. Airbnb has banned the booking guest, well, that's helpful, and said that no previous safety incidents had been reported at the listing, wrote spokesperson Lindsay Scully in an email. Yeah, you're going to find that most of these things are happening where there was no previous safety incident. Well, I might as well finish it. Airbnb formally bans all open invite parties as well as any large events in condo or apartment buildings. Define large, Scully wrote. What if I'm related to everybody in the unit? If it's my family, I should be allowed to have 130 fucking people in my apartment. If I'm related to them, I should be allowed. As long as we keep it out of the hallways. Home sharing watchdog Fairbnb, that's clever, catchy, said Toronto's Airbnb market has become crowded with ghost hotels, homes taken out of the long-term rental market by absentee hosts to be used as tourist rentals, noting the highest density was in Toronto's waterfront community. I don't think that's true. There's no more time for half measures. Stop half-stepping, said Fairbnb spokesperson motherfucker Thorben Weiditz. My name's Vanden Kerkhoff, and your name is fucking difficult. Airbnb can show it takes the lives of guests and neighbors seriously by following Toronto's regulations. And that's why they're going along with all this shit voluntarily. They're going to prove they're going to earn some corporate goodwill. Delisting ghost hotels and ending its support for hosts' appeals. Oh, so now if you get any sort of issue at all, there's no appeals, eh? In a statement, Mayor John Tory, more words, said the shooting was quote unquote unacceptable. So we have zero tolerance, unacceptable. Adding the city's community crisis response team has been mobilized to support the neighborhood. I don't know what the community crisis response team is. I've never met them. I've never seen them. I picture a van, like maybe a minivan with a bunch of people in it with coffee and cigarettes and donuts and change for the payphone. Quote, early, they would save it for the very end. Early next week, I will be outlining additional proposed investments in neighborhoods to help young people and directly address the root causes of violence. What does that mean? You're going to spend a shitload of money on something. The libraries are spending an extra $1.4 million on security. What are you going to spend on fucking shootings at Airbnbs?
Britain's Press Association that he saw the attack. He says, quote, I was crossing the road when I saw a man with a machete and silver canisters on his chest being chased by what I assume was an undercover police officer as they were in civilian clothing. Stay with us on 680 News as this story continues to develop. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
Newest hero.
This is 680 News at 1:04. Another development in a global health emergency. 680's Leah Johansson reports on the first international death from the new coronavirus being reported in the Philippines.
The victim is a 44-year-old man who was admitted to hospital on January 25th with a fever, cough, and sore throat. Now, doctors believed he was doing well, but the man suddenly developed severe pneumonia and died yesterday. The Philippines have now banned entry to travelers from China, joining the U.S., Japan, Singapore, and Australia in imposing temporary travel bans. Meantime, health officials in China are introducing additional precautions themselves, including public health notices for sanitation, but they're also warning those who are at risk should take maximum precautions.
I'm just saying, this is ridiculous.
People who have been to the epicenter or who have been close contacts of the confirmed cases, then they need to wait for 14 days as an isolation period.
Although offices and factories in China will resume work tomorrow, schools are still closed as a precaution.
All these Chinese people, every last one of them, the whole $1.5 billion has 2 weeks worth of food just stocked up.
In anti-Chinese
They don't have to
sentiments
go to
that
work
many
or
people
nothing.
thought to be fueled by xenophobia are calling for a full ban. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says her government is restricting travel from China for practical reasons.
With someone who may be coming into New Zealand as a tourist,
shut up and just do
the
it.
purpose of travel is to visit New Zealand and to travel around New Zealand. Isolation for those individuals is much less practical, much more difficult to enforce.
Meantime, many members of the Chinese community and other Asians in New Zealand and Europe are sharing instances of racial discrimination online.
680 News Time, 1:16. Happening now in the Beaches neighborhood, Toronto police say a major water pipe has burst at Queen Street East and Lee Avenue. The break has reportedly caused flooding on the roadways. As a result, westbound Queen Street East and Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee Avenue is shut down, and southbound Lee Avenue is blocked at Norway Avenue. Police are asking you to consider using alternate routes.
Well, I just put a snorkel on my truck.
And we have an update now on a road closure in Etobicoke. As you heard Christine mention in traffic, Burnham Thorpe Road is reopened between Burnham Thorpe Park Boulevard and Matisse. Police say the road had been closed after a vehicle crashed into a pole, causing live hydro wires to come down. But again, it has reopened.
680 News Time, 1:07. It's game day. The San Francisco 49ers will take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Miami tonight, and there are big parties being planned across the city to celebrate. 680's Meg Black is speaking with Torontonians on how they're spending Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, Super Bowl 54 is just hours away, so we took to the streets to ask Torontonians how they're celebrating the big night.
I watched that last year, but I'm probably not going to this year because I just don't really care.
I have no interest in that.
Well, you can't win them all. At least Scott's looking
Toronto
forward
is
to
so
the game.
cynical that they're purposely finding the people that I'm going to watch.
And having some food, wings, and chili, and
And of course, it's a mixed bag of predictions on who's going to take home the Vince Lombardi Trophy, but Jimmy Fallon's annual puppies predict it'll be the 49ers.
I came to see what team. We have 85 puppies. How hungry are they? I think the winner is
The 49ers are going to win.
Well, there you have it. Kickoffs tonight at 6:30. I'm Meg Black.
And if you are heading out tonight, maybe for a Super Bowl viewing party, the weather looks like it may be wet tonight. Our meteorologist Jason Fraser explains.
Sometime between this afternoon and this evening, we'll likely see the changeover from snow to some rain showers. And when that is going to happen, that's certainly going to make things slippery and around the neighborhood as well. So just be careful as you head to those Super Bowl parties. Just be very careful as you're walking in and out. You're definitely going to need the umbrella throughout the day as well. And you'll definitely want to make sure that you keep the windshield wipers on as well.
Oh my God.
And Jason also says if your plans take you late into the night, watch out for foggy conditions overnight.
And Super Bowl Sunday here, and it's Super Bowl 54 tonight. And while this is one of the best days for grocery sales in stores, one grocery store is actually looking to give food away. Just in time for kickoff, Covenant House and the Good Shepherd Ministries are teaming up with Rava Fine Foods to deliver meals for their guests. Rick Rava, president of Rava Fine Foods, will also be joining them to spend time with the guests.
His name is Rick.
Still to come on 680 News, the check on gas prices, followed by traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time 109.
You're listening to Toronto's 680 News.
Every 3 minutes, a Canadian will be diagnosed with cancer. In February alone, that's over 17,000 people, or enough to fill a hockey arena. Sign up for DriveFed today and raise funds for people affected by cancer in support of the Canadian Cancer Society. Giving up alcohol for a month might seem tough, but it will help people facing the biggest challenge of their lives. Visit drivefed.ca and sign up today.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Empro predicts the price of gas will stay the same at midnight, holding at just under $1.10 a liter. Traffic and weather together next. 680 News Time 110.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
A wise man once said to treat your body like a temple. But what did he say about the temple you call home? Just like your body, only the best will do for your home. And Appliance Canada brings you premium and ultra-premium brands with the quality and craftsmanship you'd expect from the top names. Sub-Zero, Wolf, Thermador, Miele, Gaggenau, Heston, and more. Backed by highly trained associates eager to help. Upgrade with Appliance Canada. Find a showroom in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga at appliancecanada.com.
680 News Time 111. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Christine Lango. This report is brought to you by TSC. On the eastbound 401, it's slow from Mississauga Road to Mavis, and westbound 401 looks heavy again from the 404 to Leslie in the Express. And we have a stalled vehicle westbound 401 west of James Snow Parkway. The right lane is heavy. Right lane is blocked, rather. A tow is on scene, and right now it's slow going from approaching James Snow to west of it. Those troubles on the northbound Don Valley Parkway at Lawrence have been cleared away. We have volume delays now northbound DVP from Eglinton to York Mills, and there's a crash southbound 400 at King Road blocking the left lane. Southbound 404 Don Valley slows from Shepherd to south of Lawrence, and a bit of volume now through that construction westbound Gardner from the Don Valley Parkway to Cherry. Westbound QEW is looking good. Eastbound QE Gardner delays through Royal Windsor from Humber Bridge to above Parkside. North and southbound Kiel still closed north of Wilson because of a collision. Eastbound Finch east of Don Mills right lane is blocked with a stalled bus, and because of a pipe bursting and some flooding on the roadway, westbound Queen is closed from Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee. Stay warm and stylish this season with Arctic Expeditions hooded puffer jacket. Get it today at TSC and save over 35%. Shop TSC.ca today. Shopping choice. Your next report is at 121, and now with the forecast, here is Jason Fraser.
The basement said
well, Christine, right now we're seeing just mostly cloudy skies along with some flurries and some light snow right across the region. One of the things I am expecting to see over the next couple of hours forecast is some snow showers potentially turning into either some freezing rain or some rain showers, and that is going to make some roadways in and around the GTA very slippery. So as you head to those Super Bowl parties tonight, just be very careful. One of the other things we continue to see is because of the snow that's falling, visibilities have also continued to fall as well. Visibilities right now at Pearson are 2 kilometers per hour, or I should say just 2 kilometers right now. Now the fog is going to develop overnight.
Yeah, I caught him
should
saying
stick
that before
around
too,
through
but I thought I
tomorrow morning's
imagined
rush, and we will be abnormally warm tomorrow. Our normal high temperature is around -2 degrees, but we're going to reach +7 degrees tomorrow. Right now at Pearson, it's +1 degree. The guaranteed high
I don't care.
is
You
+2.
misunderstood it. That's your problem. If you're flying,
Listening
you
to Wellness
fuck up
Radio,
because of this guy.
680
That's your
News
fault.
still to come. A list of our top stories and our sports report next.
680 News Time, 1:13.
Hi, I'm Cherry Tabb, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. If ever there was a year to improve your life by improving your vision, it's 2020. You've been thinking about it with every squint at the menu, every blurry headlight, every lost contact lens. 2020 is the year to say, I've had it. Herzig Eye Institute helped me do something about it. Because happily,
All
help you
those
we
payment
will.
plans.
Google high definition vision.
Get
Learn
furniture
about
and
Herzig.
surgery
Call us
and
for a
all this
consultation.
shit. Don't
There's
pay
no
till
charge.
2020.
Look after yourself.
Pay up,
Promise me.
motherfuckers.
License 10349. It's a slap in the face. Your bank refused your mortgage. Don't get mad. Call Northwood Mortgage. Northwood Mortgage takes a closer look at your financial picture, property equity, past record, the promise of performance, and more. Northwood Mortgage does everything they can to approve the mortgage you need. That's their business. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
A rain and snow mix and 1 degree in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Eden Tababa.
And I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour.
A man has been killed by police in London, England, after multiple people were attacked in the suburbs south of the city. According to officers, there are 2 stabbing victims. The attack is being treated as a terror-related incident. And a 44-year-old man in the Philippines died today from the novel coronavirus, making him the first victim outside of China. He was apparently a Wuhan resident who recently traveled to the Philippines. And tonight, Super Bowl 54 will see the Kansas City Chiefs facing off against the San Francisco 49ers. We'll have a full rundown of everything you'll need to know ahead of the big game in our sports report. 680 News Time, 1:15. Now, 680 Sports with Sportsnet, 590 The Fan. Good afternoon, Brent Gunning.
Good afternoon, Eden. You mentioned the Super Bowl. It gets going at 6:30. Chiefs and 49ers playing in Miami. The Chiefs are trying to snap a 50-year drought. The 49ers, they haven't won it in a while either. Their last win came in 1995, so a lengthy drought for them as well. Raptors, they're home this afternoon hosting Chicago. It's a matinee. The Sportsnet 590 The Fan will have it for you starting at 3. Norm Powell will not be available in this one. He is out indefinitely after fracturing a finger in Friday's win against the Pistons. The Raptors riding a win streak right now. 3 games today in the NHL. The first one has the Penguins up 2-1 on Washington. At 2 o'clock, 2 more will begin. The Canadiens host Columbus, while the Hurricanes are home to Vancouver. As for the Leafs, they're off today after a win last night. Tomorrow night, they'll be home to the Panthers. You'll be able to listen to that game on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. And the final round is in full swing at the Waste Management Open. Leader Tony Finau has just teed off. He starts the day with a 1-shot lead on Webb Simpson. JB Holmes is part of the pack that is 2 shots back. The low Canadian is Adam Hadwin. He is 11 off the pace. Sports 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 1:16.
There's a reason you look people in the eyes when you shake their hand. A reason you don't like being late for meetings and hate missing deadlines. It's why you put your customers first and pick your partners wisely. Because you know, in business, reputation is everything. Trust your reputation to FedEx for all of your international shipping needs. Express, ground, and freight. Visit FedEx.ca/reason. FedEx, connecting people and possibilities.
This is the first sound you hear when we get hit by a snowstorm. And this is the second sound you hear. Snowplows on the DVP and the Gardner. When it snows, the city has over 5,600 kilometers of roads to salt and plow. And in order to get more people where they need to go safely, we clear expressways, major roads, and transit routes first, before moving on to residential streets.
The busiest library system in the world.
Get to know the plan for snow at
Why is there so many fucking street people?
680 News Time.
Space everywhere. Just hang out in the
To be
street.
schooled by Toronto Police. Members of the public are invited to apply for the upcoming spring session of Community Police Academy. As we hear from 680's Kevin Meisner, the 9-week course offers a detailed behind-the-scenes look at what police do to fight crime and keep the city safe.
Just like the real officers, Community Police Academy recruits will get plenty of classroom instruction, but Constable Jamie Shepard tells me they also get to suit up in a vest and a training gun for simulations of real-life scenarios.
Our students will be dressed as full police officers, and what they'll do is they'll have to go into these calls and handle calls that are radio calls that actual Toronto Police Service officers have used. What we do is we take those calls and we use them in our training.
Students will also get to hear about the techniques used by detectives in evidence collection.
On investigations from subject matter experts on homicides, sex crimes, gang intervention strategies, cyber crime investigations, and forensic identification services.
The course runs for 9 Saturdays, 8:30 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, but it's absolutely free. If you want to apply, go to the Toronto Police website. Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
It's a time-honored tradition, getting the long-term forecast before you run it. Some good news from Wyerton Willie on this snowy Groundhog's Day, but it came with a bit of a snafu.
It's apparently not down to a science. There was a bit of confusion this morning as Wyerton Willie delivered his big prediction for Groundhog Day 2020. He initially predicted an early spring, but apparently there was some confusion.
Well, I don't think you can see its shadow, so it's 6 more weeks.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 6 more weeks of winter.
This is a slow news day.
That awkward reaction is because if the groundhog does not see his shadow, that actually means an early spring. I get it. Forecasting is hard, but long before the rodent forecast, the actual meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai knew what Wyerton Willie would predict.
And your forecast is going to be for an early spring, which is going to coincide nicely with what the climatologists over at Environment Canada are saying for a warmer than average next 3 months.
Meantime, Shubenacadie Sam says 6 more weeks. Puxatawny Phil also says an early spring. And Lucy the Lobster, yeah, you heard that right, predicts 6 more weeks. I'm Zahir Hashimi.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time, 1:20.
Hello, Loblaws shoppers, specifically Paul, who's planning a party for the big game. Your snack coach, Paul. Here to make sure your party food is on point.
Okay,
Rush to the hot counter, tackle a bucket of 36 chicken wings and potato wedges, a 2-liter Pepsi beverage, and select varieties of Ruffles, Doritos, or Tostitos snacks, and earn 3,500 PC Optimum points.
touchdown. Oh, wait, spicy or mild?
Just get the wings, Paul. Conditions apply. Offer valid until February 5th, 2020, only at participating Loblaws locations. Food lovers unite.
Do you consider traffic me time?
I mean, isn't it?
Was your last sandcastle made of snow?
It was mostly ice.
Do you think Puerto Plata is an appetizer?
I like it with salsa.
This is your Air Transat flight attendant, and I think you could use our vacation intervention promo.
Vacation?
Save up to $1,000 per couple on South packages by going to transat.com or call your mother travel professional.
Air Transat. Vacation is calling.
680 News Time, 1:21.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Christine Langos. This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. I'm just getting an update on that problem westbound 401 west of James Snow Parkway. A collision blocking 2 left lanes. It's jammed now from Trafalgar over to west of James Snow Parkway on the westbound 401. Eastbound 401 is busy from Mississauga Road to Mavis. You'll find delays on the northbound Don Valley Parkway. Not too bad though. It is slow from approaching Lawrence to York Mills. And on the southbound 400, it's jammed approaching King Road because of another crash. The left lane is blocked here. Emergency crews are on scene. Southbound 404 Don Valley is slow from Shepherd to south of Lawrence. Just a bit of volume on the westbound Gardner through that construction. Don Valley Parkway to Cherry, then it picks up. On the eastbound QEW ramp to Trafalgar, the right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. A tow was here. Eastbound Gardner is heavy from the Humber Bridge to Parkside. We had a stalled bus eastbound Finch east of Don Mills blocking the right lane. Westbound Queen is closed from Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee because of a burst pipe and some flooding subsequently. And Kiel is closed north of Wilson both ways because of a collision from this morning. This year, 407 ETR is adding 30 kilometers of new lanes to keep up with increasing traffic and keep your commutes fast, safe, and reliable. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report is at 1:31, and now with the forecast, here is Jason Fraser.
Well, right now, Christine, we are seeing some light to moderate snow showers move across Brampton, Vaughan, Markham, as well as the Newmarket region. And I can't forget about the city of Toronto right now. Mississauga is getting a break from all of the snow showers that are moving across the region. Final snow totals include anywhere between a coating to upwards of 4 centimeters possible. And later on this afternoon, we could even see some rain move across the GTA. Later on tonight, I'm anticipating the precipitation end. However, some fog will develop across the GTA. We'll see a low temperature right around 0 degrees. And for tomorrow, should be a gorgeous day across the GTA as we'll see sunny skies and a high temperature around +7 degrees. That is abnormally warm. Around this time of year, we should only be topping out around -2. For Tuesday, we'll see a high of +1 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out the possibility of a few flurries. And for Wednesday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds and a high temperature right around -2. Right now at Pearson, it's +1. The guaranteed high is +2.
Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $14,200. Coming up at 1:30, we'll have the latest on what police in London, England are calling a terror-related incident after multiple people were attacked in a southern neighborhood. 680 News Time, 124.
Hey, John, how's your business doing?
Numero uno.
I don't understand. I thought you said your business needed help getting more customers.
Numero uno.
What do you mean, numero uno?
I mean, the team at Numero Uno helped turn my business around. With their simple online strategies, I have more leads, more customers, and more sales than ever.
Sounds like the numero uno team really know their stuff.
That's why they're Numero Uno.
To see how numero uno can get your business more customers, visit numerounoweb.com today. That's numerounoweb.com.
Anytime.
You got the word web in your website address.
Inside police headquarters, I'm Mark Douglas. Live from
Company
the
name,
scene.
web.
Live at the University of Courthouse.
Where breaking news is happening.
It's at King and John. Kevin Meisner reporting live at City Hall. I'm Omi Kureshi.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather.
In the downtown area, reporting live, Melissa McCauley, 680 News.
This is 680 News at 680news.com.
This portion of the news brought to you by Primont Homes. We don't know
I'm
where
gonna
it
blame
came
it on you
from.
then.
That's what RCMP in Nova Scotia are saying after molasses cake containing THC was served to students and staff at a local school. The cake left many who ate it feeling ill, including one adult that ended up seeking medical attention. RCMP say they still don't know how it happened, and they're looking into if it was an intentional act. You're listening to All News
Somebody
Radio
lost
680
their
News.
cake.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, our weekend business report.
Dude, the
680
cake.
News Time, 125.
Some live to ski.
That's what you get for eating food that you find.
Ski to live. Introducing Bluemont. Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive
You watch
lots.
somebody else take a bite of a piece and you thought it was okay, but
A
THC
lifetime
doesn't
of
work like that
memories
when you
awaits
eat it.
you and your family. Chalets from $890,000.
I don't know what medical
For more
treatment there is.
information or directions to our sales office,
I thought eating marijuana was a medical treatment.
Szechuan wishes you a happy Chinese New Year. Ring in the year of the auspicious rat with all your favorite Chinese dishes, including Szechuan's famous delicious sushi or legendary General Tao chicken. Eat in at Szechuan's beautiful restaurant in Vaughan Mills Mall and enjoy authentic Chinese flavors. Come celebrate with Szechuan at Vaughan Mills Mall, entrance 3. Gong Hei Fat
Authentic
Choi from
Chinese flavors.
Szechuan.
Not flavor, flavors.
680 News Time, 126.
Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. Finding the right employee
What is
can be
that soy
crucial to
sauce?
any business's success, no matter the industry. And Stephen Cardwell, the general manager at Stephen Cardwell Recruitment, says many businesses make mistakes when
Beautiful
seeking a
name
new
for a
hire.
company.
There's a lot of companies out there that are hiring their own talent acquisition teams to recruit for numerous positions, which is great, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're talking about positions that are more seasoned and may take a bit of time to find that ideal candidate that is not necessarily looking at a job posting.
And you also say that companies often accept what they've been given.
And that's a question I'd like to have one of my senior recruiters, his name is John Talbanchian, he's with me right now in the office, to elaborate on.
You know, oftentimes companies
That makes me wonder if this guy actually does anything.
various social
His
platforms.
name is just
And,
on top.
you know, as a search firm or as, you know, what we call the process of headhunting, we are looking towards candidates that are
invisible to the market. These are candidates very highly qualified. They're, for the most part, happy where they are.
And John, you also say there's an over-reliance on social media.
It is changing the face of society, but we are seeing that we're losing that human-to-human connection. Nobody wants to pick up the phone. Nobody wants to speak to another person. Everybody's reliant on what's visible, but the invisible is what we're very, very good at isolating, and our clients very much appreciate the way we go after and seek, top talent that most recruiters or job boards can't identify.
That's John Talfantian and Stephen Cardwell with
These
Stephen
guys
Cardwell
took the school
Recruitment.
course where they
And at
train
the
you for the
Business
jobs that
Center,
don't exist
I'm
yet.
Chris
That's what they did.
McCusker.
Your email checking, writing, ignoring is on track. Your okay, just one more snack. And your post-snack nappy's on track. You're catching up with the gossip. And finally, catching up with you is on track. Your gazing at the snowy view is definitely on track. Your photo taking, filter choosing, Insta faming, yeah, they're on track. Your green tea sipping, cozy wool sock loving, left, right, lefting, and just getting out of town is on track. You're on track to loving winter travel with Via Rail. Via Rail Canada. Love the way.
Visit Casino Ajax every Thursday in February for a chance to play Deal Breaker and win up to $10,000 cash. Hungry? We have daily dining specials from 4 to 11 p.m. at spectacular prices, including prime rib and 2 lobster tails on Thursdays and Fridays for only $14.99. Must be 19 plus and a Winner's Circle Rewards member. If you gamble, play smart.
Casino Ajax.
It's time for the 680 News
They
Business
serve
Turquoise
alcohol at
forecast
this
brought to you by the
places.
Canadian Women's Foundation. On Thursday, March 5th, have lunch
There's
at
a bank
LOL with
machine there.
Emmy-nominated comedian Samantha Bee live in Toronto. Funds
You get to
raised to
collect
support the Canadian
points.
Women's
You get to
Foundation.
collect
Get your tickets at
points when you play.
canadianwomen.org.
In Vancouver, light rain, 3 degrees. Edmonton, overcast and
smart.
minus 11. In San Francisco, clear, 9 degrees. Los Angeles, partly cloudy and 14 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, rain and snow mix, 1 degree, but feeling more like minus 4 with the wind. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. 680 News time, 1:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Sunday, the 2nd of February. I'm Asher Roth.
And I'm Eden Spada. Here's what's making
Not
news
announced
this hour.
Groundhog Day.
London Metropolitan Police confirm a man has been shot and killed by armed officers following a stabbing. 3 people have been injured in what UK officials are declaring a terrorist-related incident. A 44-year-old man in the Philippines is the first death
What?
outside China
Not
as a result of the
terrorism.
new coronavirus that's been spreading across the world. Kickoff is just hours away, and we're asking Torontonians how they're celebrating Super Bowl 54.
You almost have to have chicken wings today, right? And the number of them being served up is wild.
The Raptors are home to the Bulls this afternoon, while Super Bowl 54 goes in Miami tonight. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, coronavirus fears may have you paying a lower mortgage bill. We're looking at how fixed-rate mortgages are heading lower here in Canada.
680 News time, 1:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. And with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, here's Christine Langos.
This report is brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. Southbound 400 is jammed from south of Aurora Road to King Road, and that's where we still have a collision blocking the left lane. We have emergency crews on scene. And also there's quite a delay westbound on the 401 from Trafalgar out to west of James Snow Parkway, where the 2 left lanes are blocked because of a collision. Eastbound 401 is busy through Kennedy and the Collectors, but really not a bad drive on the eastbound 401 across the GTA. Northbound Don Valley Parkway slows, but only from Eglinton to York Mills. So in general, volume is quite light on the major routes where we don't have any problems. Westbound Gardner slows from the Don Valley Parkway to Cherry through that long-term construction. On the eastbound QEW ramp to Trafalgar, problems have been cleared away. Just a bit of volume now eastbound QEW from here Ontario to Dixie. Eastbound Gardner is slow from the Humber Bridge to Parkside. And westbound Queen is closed from Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee, and that's because of a burst pipe and flooding in the area. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. Your next report is at 1:41, and now with the forecast, here is Jason Fraser.
And now, Christine, we're seeing some light to moderate snow showers move across the GTA. This is going to continue for the next couple of hours. Some of us might even see some snow showers turn into some rain showers. We'll see the precipitation end tonight, and some fog will develop in some spots, and a low temperature of about 0 degrees for tonight. Right now at Pearson, it's +1. The guaranteed high is +2.
680 News Time, 1:33.
We're learning more about a suspected terrorist attack in London, England. Metropolitan Police say 3 people are injured, 1 in critical condition after a man armed with a knife attacked several people in the city's South End.
680's Michelle Mackey is following the latest developments and joins us live now with more. Michelle.
Eden, Metropolitan Police confirmed armed officers have shot and killed a man following a stabbing, and 3 people have been injured. 1 person is in hospital in life-threatening condition. A second victim treated for minor injuries at the scene before being taken to hospital. A third victim also in hospital. Their condition is not life-threatening. ABC's Tom Rivers says witnesses report hearing gunshots just after 2 p.m. local time.
One witness, a 19-year-old student, says he was crossing the street when a man with a machete and what he describes as silver canisters on his chest was being chased by an individual. Says the man with the large knife was then shot. Ambulances then descended onto the scene.
Now, the Streatham neighborhood where this happened, south of downtown London, is a densely populated shopping and dining area. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 1:34. To the ongoing outbreak of the novel coronavirus, and while the number of cases here in Canada remains low and the risk of infection is minimal, the Philippines is reporting the first death from the pandemic outside of mainland China. 680's Leah Johansson has more.
The Department of Health says there were 2 confirmed infections in the Philippines, with the first case in the country confirmed just on Thursday. A 44-year-old Chinese man died yesterday. Philippines Health Secretary Francisco Duque says the patient developed severe pneumonia.
In his last few days, the patient was
this
stable
virus
and
is
showed
pneumonia,
signs
is
of
it not?
improvement.
Isn't that
However,
what they said to
the
us
condition
before?
of the patient deteriorated within the last 24 hours, resulting in his demise.
There have been more than 14,000 cases of the virus, and more than 300 people have died. This is the first time, though, a death has been reported outside mainland China. I'm Leah Johansson.
Amid concerns surrounding the coronavirus, many are looking for ways to better protect themselves. Bruce Wild is the City TV health expert. He says things like elderberry and vitamin D can help your immune system stay strong.
Taking a natural medicine like an herb or a botanical that conveys a health benefit, such as the ability to boost what are called natural killer cells. And these are types of cells that are kind of like Pac-Man cells. They're a unique part of our immune system that unbiasedly gobble up all kinds of viruses, any virus that might enter your body.
Wild says you should check with a pharmacist or doctor about the dosage. He also adds a lack of sleep, stress, and an unhealthy diet can actually work against your immune system, making you more prone to sickness.
Happening now in the beach, Toronto police say there are road closures near Queen and Lee after a major water pipe burst.
Not Toronto
This is
City
reportedly
staff.
flooding on area roads.
Toronto
As a result,
police.
Queen Street
That's
is
what I'm
closed
talking about.
westbound at Scarborough Beach
911, my
Boulevard to
basement is
Lee
full.
Avenue, and Lee is closed southbound at Norway. Police are asking you to avoid the area and use alternate routes if you can.
This is 680 News at 1:36. Super Bowl 54 is just hours away, with the Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the San Francisco 49ers in Miami. 680's Zach Bodenstein has a preview of the 2 hungry fan bases, both hoping to see their team snag a long-awaited win.
Okay, yes, we'll get to the food and we'll talk about the halftime show, but I think we should also discuss the actual game that's going on, right? The San Francisco 49ers are looking to win their first Super Bowl since 1995, which was before I was even born, so it's been a while, but don't tell that to Chiefs fans. Kansas City hasn't won a title since 1970, but they do have arguably the best quarterback in the sport in Patrick Mahomes. The problem is that San Francisco defense is pretty darn good. So who has the edge? The Chiefs are the betting favorite before kickoff, and the odds are in their favor for their superstar to win Super Bowl MVP. What am I looking forward to? How about ditching the chicken breast, white fish, and rice for pizza and wings? Looks like I'm the biggest winner of the night. I'm Zach Bodenstein.
Oh, chicken.
Yeah, you
What
wish,
the fuck's wrong with you?
Bodenstein. In the meantime, the Super Bowl can be a big day, even if you're not exactly a football fan. There's plenty to get excited about. 680's Meg Black has more.
Oh, motherfucker.
Super Bowl excitement is in the air, and I asked Mackenzie if she's looking forward to tonight.
No, not particularly. I'm just going to watch for the halftime show.
Well, Elise sounds excited.
Well, at the start of the season, sort of said the Chiefs to keep backing them.
And some are a little sour that their team didn't make it this far.
Well, my team is the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl this year.
But he's willing to shift his allegiance to the Chiefs to show some Canadian spirit.
They got 2 offensive linemen. One's from Montreal and one's from North Bay. So that's kind of cool to see a Canadian.
That's white-collar criminal talk.
Kick off it tonight at 6:30.
Who he's betting on.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. With many heading out to Super Bowl parties, you may be wondering what the weather will be like. Our meteorologist Jason Frazier says the snow we're seeing this afternoon is eventually expected to change over to freezing rain, which could make for some slick road conditions. He also has a message to those planning to celebrate late into the night.
Overnight, we will also end up seeing some fog develop as well. That's going to likely happen sometime after 11 o'clock tonight. So if you are planning on staying outdoors rather late tonight, just know that some spots around the GTA could also see some fog develop as well.
Jason adds, if you're heading outside at all this afternoon, you'll likely want to bring an umbrella with you.
So it's no secret, chicken wings are a pretty popular thing to snack on at Super Bowl parties, but just how many wings are going to be consumed today? Our Jeff Verhoeven's taking a look.
I'm going to contribute my fair share to that number today. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Wings are a must. So I called up Royal Massager, Director of Marketing for St. Louis Bar and Grill, to get an idea of just how many wings they plan on serving.
We typically serve over 20 times our usual daily output of wings, which is just over or approximately 110,000 orders of wings, which equates to almost 1 million individual wings being served.
This year, St. Louis is offering takeout through Skip the Dishes, 3, 5, and 10-pound platters available.
It's 500,000
plus
chickens.
The dill sauce. Money. I'm Jeff Verhoeven.
It really is delicious. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check gas prices.
680 News Time, 139.
Buying a new home? Then Caitlin Homes has a variety of innovative incentive offers for you. Choose from a selection of Caitlin inventory homes and offers that best suit your unique needs. Like 0% interest, exclusive Caitlin Homes rebates up to $40,000, or one of their rent-to-own programs. Yes, you can own a new home in Bowmanville. But these incentives won't last long. Limited inventory available. For more details, visit CaitlinCorp.com. Certain conditions apply.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Info predicting the price of gas is not going to change at midnight, holding at just under $1.10 a liter. Traffic, weather together next.
680 News Time, 140.
We're 2 men and a truck, and we've got lots of men and lots of trucks. Whether you're planning a move to a new home or to a new office down the hall, big or small, we move them all. We even sell packing and moving supplies. But no matter what you need, we'll do it with a smile. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. So when you're planning your next move, call 2 men and a truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hashtag Tim and Finn. Hey, Tim. Yes, Sid. So the radio show we're doing, we're still talking about sports, of course. Sure. Got a question, though. Not a big deal or anything. Since we're on the radio, I assume clothing is optional?
You do know we're still on TV, right?
So that's a yes.
Tim and Sid, serious about sports and fully clothed. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Watch on Sportsnet and listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan through the Sportsnet app.
680 News Time, 141.
Checking your drive, it's Christine Lingos.
And this report is brought to you by Greater Toronto Airport Authority. On the westbound 401 at Leslie in the collectors, we had problems very briefly. It looks like they've been cleared out of the way. However, we still have this issue on the westbound 401 west of James Snow Parkway with the collision blocking the left lane. So they've reopened the center lane. Nonetheless, the damage has been done. It's slow from Trafalgar over to west of James Snow Parkway. Eastbound 401 is slow through Mavis and again through Leslie in the collectors. And if you're traveling on the northbound Don Valley Parkway, you'll find that busy with volume from about Eglinton up towards York Mills. Problems have been cleared from the southbound 400 at King Road, but it's slow from south of Aurora Road. That volume is dissipating nicely, though. Southbound 404 Don Valley, delays approaching the 401 to south of Lawrence, and heading out on the westbound Gardner, really not a bad drive. It is a bit slow from the Don Valley Parkway to Cherry through that long-term construction. And westbound QEW is just starting to get busy now from the Ford plant to Trafalgar. Eastbound Gardner, a delay from the Humber Bridge to Parkside. Don't forget westbound Queen is closed from Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee because of flooding across the roadway. And Keel is closed north of Wilson at Calvington Road both ways. Learn more about the Union Station West Transit Hub at the airport. Reducing congestion, making better suburb to suburb commuting possible. Learn more at unionstationwest.ca. Your next report is at 1:51. And now with the forecast, here is Jason Fraser.
Well, Christine, right now in downtown Toronto, we're seeing a mix of snow as well as some ice belts right now at 0 degrees. We knew that this was going to happen because all morning long and into the early part of the afternoon, we have been seeing some light to moderate snow showers moving across the region. And I knew once the temperature went above the freezing mark that we would likely start to see that changeover. And we have started to see that changeover. Later on this afternoon, we'll continue to see some rain showers. Tonight, the precipitation will end, and we will end up seeing some fog develop in some spots. Low temperature right around 0. And for tomorrow, we could see some morning fog, and then eventually it will dissipate, and we'll see abnormally high temperatures right around 7 degrees. I say abnormal because the high around this time of year should be around -2. It's +1 right now at Pearson. The guaranteed high today is +2.
680 news time, 1:43. If you're watching the game tonight and you plan to imbibe, make sure you've got a safe ride home. But if you are taking transit to or from North York, keep in mind you've got a subway closure to contend with. There's no service on the young portion of Line 1 between Finch and Eglinton all day today as crews continue to work on the automatic signaling system. Shuttle buses are running. Regular service will resume in time for your morning commute tomorrow. Your top stories and a preview of tonight's big games straight ahead.
680 news time, 1:44.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Arrival Line is 30, and over the years, we've had a lot of support from people in the community who will get serious about is impaired driving. Plan ahead, take a cab, or stay overnight in Wendell.
Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends.
Thanks, you two. Just like Shania and Wendell, you can support sober driving. Learn more at arrivallive.org.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Snowfall across the city. It is 1 degree, feeling like -3. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Asher Ross.
And I'm Eden Zabala. Here's what's making news this hour.
Terror in London's Streatham area, where 3 people are injured, 1 in critical condition after a man with a knife attacked an unknown number of people at around 2 p.m. local time. Metropolitan Police say the area is now secure and that the suspect has been shot and killed by officers. You're going to want to avoid the Queen and Lee area for the next while. A burst water pipe is causing flooding in that area. Queen is closed westbound from Scarborough Beach Boulevard to Lee, while Lee is closed both ways from Williamson Road to Norway Avenue. Again, that is because of flooding in that area. Still to come on 680 News.
It's Groundhog Day and the results are in. Wyerton Willie, Shubenacadie Sam, and Pussatawny Phil will reveal their predictions for the season.
Time now for 680 Sports. It's brought to you by the 2020 Rogers Cup, presented by National Bank, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Good afternoon, Frank Gunning.
Good
afternoon, Asher. The NFL season ends tonight in Miami with Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs and 49ers are both looking to snap a lengthy drought. It is scheduled to start at 6:30. As for the Raptors, they try to run their win streak up to 11 at home against the Bulls this afternoon. Tip-off is set for 3. Listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Norm Powell not playing. He is out indefinitely with a fractured finger. 3 games today in the NHL. The only one on the go now is in the second period.
These are fucking it up. Oh shit, what the fuck's going on with this now? Oh, that's not functioning. Oh, there it goes. No. Shit. How the fuck do I get out of this? Motherfucker. App may not work with split screen. That's wonderful. I know this. That's why I didn't tell it to do that. Holy shit, eh?
Texted on my face, it's begging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town, Go fuck on my nigga. Where the bitch hell, bow down, it's the black part. Texted on my face, it's begging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town, In the streets, you prepare where you take you. Some situations can make you or break you. But fuck that shit, I'm a nigga for life. The day I got patched up, real niggas for life. Show black, I see little. Sometimes ride, sometimes 40s, hard times I live little. Love places, gotta make placed up. Nigga makes me take chasing every day. Life flags is everything, but it's okay, I'm still here. Vegas, Grand Hook, NFL, we folded up, we young niggas rising up. Veteran, but show fuck my black cars from Stingstone. Through the storm and through the war. Niggas for life, niggas support. See them up, we kill them all. Take this patch, Moreno. Don't fuck a toe, representing everything. Bow down the town, wait in your town, let a rap. Show black, we found out. Show black, we found out. No fuck, I'm a motherfucking nigga. Here is hell, bow down, just sit on my face. It's banging all around. So bow down with the real niggas in the town, No fuck, I'm a nigga. Here is hell, bow down, just the black part. Tinted on my face, it's banging all around. Survive down with the real niggas in the town.
BPAT is what you see, and what you see is what you get, and what you get is chin check. When you come around that way, you gon' feel the full effect of a crazy ass nigga run my blade, crush your neck. Angel shit real quick, I hold it down for the fist. This black power motherfucker, we be up in this bitch. Yeah, you see us on the hustle, we be trying to get rich. This fist gang to the death, know that I never switch. I'm 18, nigga, never taking it lightly. Fucking must think they mighty, but none of them wanna fight me. You don't believe me, come try me, your fucking ass will be dying. See your mama, she crying, or she good. Why and I stay real, nigga. I live and die for the black. I live and die for the back. I'm spitting rhymes and facts. Now I think you get the message. So that this paper chasing nigga makes this nigga life where it's at.